Shadowboxing with Filthy and J-Dog.
All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Season 1, Episode 7 of Shadowboxing, TSR Community Podcast. My name is Joel. You know me as J-Dog. I'm joined by my best friend and constant co-host, Scott, also known as Filthy. How you doing, Filthy?
I'm doing good, man. Doing good.
Awesome.
Glad to be here. Interested and kind of excited to be doing this live. Glad to see how it goes. That should actually be one of the things I do is pull this up so I can see chat.
Yeah, absolutely. That would be a great idea. So you already touched on the first and probably biggest point, which is that for the first time ever, Shadowboxing is recording this podcast live. So, yeah. Beans is already in the chat. Can't mess up the recording if you've got the backup VOD. It's
God,
true.
exactly, dude.
We're playing 4D chess over here.
100%.
Question. Questions. So we had some questions that got
And
mailed
unhealthy amount
into
of
us.
beans.
Yeah, yeah, Beans.
Sorry, I zoned
Hey,
out.
yeah, no,
Maybe
it's-
having chat
it's-
access isn't a good
Yeah,
thing.
you know, maybe you should. Wait, okay, you have 3 monitors. What's the furthest monitor away from your regular eyesight? Like, just
Chat access.
hide that as far away as you can. But wait, also, my audio is not switched over yet.
Oh, well, you should fucking do that.
The horror. I'm sure I sound awful.
Also, what's going on with our
Now I
video
sound
here?
better.
Oh, it's back.
So, anyways, yeah, we're doing listener questions. We had members of the community mail us, and they DM'd me some questions that they wanted us to answer on the podcast tonight. And being as it's going to be more of like a Q&A kind of podcast session, we decided that, in the immortal words of Bill O'Reilly, fuck it, we'll do it live.
We literally decided this like 3 minutes before we started recording. Yep. Like,
So,
it got brought up, and we were like, fuck it, let's just do it.
Yeah.
It's not that late. It's only 9:33 my time, so like 10:33 East Coast.
Yeah.
Perp the fuck up. Doc in the chat. What
Doc,
up, bro?
let's perp the fuck up indeed. And it's like, okay, yeah. So I guess to that end, Rice, how much time do we dedicate to podcast prep, etc.? In terms of preparation, there wasn't much time dedicated to that for this podcast. And we decided 5 minutes ago we were going to go live, and here we are. So anyways, we're really excited to be doing this. The podcast, sorry, I just got thrown off because my live time and my recording time are 2 very different things. I don't really know why, but you know, who cares? So we have questions we're gonna answer. If anything comes up in chat as well that looks really good, I don't have any problem answering those questions as well. I think we have a good crop of questions, so we don't necessarily need questions to come from chat, but if somebody thinks of something that they want to know, we'd be more than happy to talk about it as well.
Yeah, fire away, guys. I'll
yeah.
be looking between all 3, and then just kind of, like, if I see a question that's good enough, you know what I mean, we'll note it down. We'll answer what you guys want to hear, and
yeah,
hopefully this is going to be a good episode. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. It's been a while since I've done a live one.
It has. We did this once, right? With the old podcast?
Twice.
We did it twice?
It was twice with our old podcast, yeah. And when we did them, though, we never did it like this with like a cool overlay or any of the bullshit. It was just like we were literally sitting in this room, both of us, actually, with the fucking desks here.
Yep.
Facing that way.
I remember that.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Okay. Chief, what's up? Chief is, for those of you that don't know who Chief is, he's a long time supporter of my stream, and I of his. So Chief, how's it going, bud? We're just doing.
When was the last time Filthy was arrested? That's a really good question.
Easy,
2015.
Right? Yeah, I was gonna say.
2015. Actually, yeah, dude, that's like however many years ago in August too.
Yeah.
Like that's coming up. That's coming up that it'll be.
You grew up a little bit after that.
22. Yeah, it'll be like 8 years. Yeah, no, it's because I got married and had kids, and that was a wake up call. And I stopped fucking around.
Yeah.
Now I'm a God fearing, peace loving man. I can't say any of that. None of that's true. I just don't leave my house and do dumb shit anymore.
Yep, 100%. Same for me. So okay, well there you go. That's the first question that gets answered. And how bad was the indecent exposure? This podcast is already off the rails. This was a terrible mistake. This was a terrible mistake, Scott. We gotta shut it down.
We gotta you gonna shut it down that quickly? Jesus Christ.
Man. All right, so let's actually.
It was not indecent exposure. I'm not gonna go directly into it, but
we're not gonna talk about it. But it wasn't
stupid. That wasn't a felony, and wasn't
hey, cheers to doing
enough
dumb
of anything
shit that
to put
wasn't
me
a
on a
felony.
list. So. Yeah, I did dumb shit that wasn't a felony and didn't put me on a list. So, like, it wasn't the worst thing in the world, but I did some dumb shit. I paid the price for it, and
well, it put you on Santa's naughty list for that Christmas. So
yeah, for like
a
couple Christmases, they were like, "Hey, you shouldn't do anything else illegal because that would be bad for you." And I was like, "Yeah, no, that sounds bad. I'll just be a good noodle from now on." And I do that by staying at home and playing Madden.
I'll be a good noodle.
So when I started playing Madden again, I was like around that era, around that time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I had to fill out something to do, so
yeah,
I was like, well, fucking play Madden and sit in my house.
So that's why you have such a religious adoration. Not adoration, but like you love the game more than you should. It's because it was there for you.
Mm-hmm.
When you need.
Oh yeah, dude, it was something for me to do. It was something for me to fucking do. Like, because I was sitting at home really focused on not like doing the dumb shit I was doing. Yeah, exactly. Just not doing dumb shit anymore because that's all I was doing was run around doing dumb shit. So like I stopped doing dumb shit. I started playing in leagues like this, and like it's kind of been what I do ever since. Now I just kind of chill and do this. So fucking all hail Madden, I guess. This got really deep and emotional. It's not where I was planning to go with this night. Jesus.
You know, so here's the thing. We don't. Part of the beauty of this podcast is that we don't like hardcore plan it ahead of time. Like we talk about like, hey, this is what we're going to talk about during the podcast, before the podcast. But there's no like set structure. It works out really well for the podcast. We're about to find out how well it works for a live stream. Where people can comment and a little more structure might be better, but we're going to learn today. So, that's Train, the last time that I saw sunshine, first of all, you should know that I'm a little more tan than this light is making me look very pasty white. And do I own anything that's not a tank top? Yeah, I wear jerseys, other jerseys. I try and always wear a sports jersey if I'm streaming or recording this podcast, just because I have a ton of jerseys. I love to wear them, and it kind of fits the theme. And recently, I've been getting a lot more into the basketball jerseys because I think basketball jerseys are some of the coolest jerseys in sports. They do way more with basketball jerseys than they do with football jerseys. That's for damn sure. And I love it. Tonight I'm rocking the Cream City Chris Middleton. So yeah, he's pretty cool. And
I feel like it's easier to follow players in basketball.
It is. It's basically required. Like, it's like that. But okay, so let's get to the first question. I think it's a good question to start us off. So Buster sent us this one, and he says, Gamebuster writes, I like this, like I'm actually reading mail. He wrote into the show and writes, so my question for the show, what are your plans content-wise for this upcoming Madden? I fully expect Shadowboxing to continue regularly, but want to know if you or Filthy have anything else planned. And then also points out that we could use this as an opportunity to ask everyone else what they want to see and what others have planned. So, I would start off with saying, absolutely, we want to know what the community wants to see from this podcast, what they'd love to see in terms of content. And if you're watching this and you've got some content planned, let us know. It gets everybody excited. I would absolutely love to know that stuff. In terms of what we have planned, we've got some ideas. We had talked about doing a live podcast, and then we just did one right now. So that's no longer being planned. But we do, like, I will visit around, I'll visit Filthy Weird and the area where he lives, not all the time, but like often enough that we'll do like an in-person live podcast. Um, oh man, it just occurred to me that it'd be really awesome if we could somehow get some sort of meetup with any amount of people from the league to do a podcast, like a real like in-person roundtable. That would be a lot of fun. So there you go. Maybe that's something we'll plan. Um, and then
Rent an Airbnb for that.
yeah, just rent an Airbnb and just spend a weekend playing Madden and recording a podcast. And it'd have to be people that would be okay with drinking. Like, you don't have to get on our level, but like, there'll be,
I think with the right people, it'd be a good time.
Yeah, yeah. Well, exactly. And oh man, we could rent like a cabin in the Smokies. Get those giant. When I say a cabin in the Smokies, it's not even like a cabin. It's like a mansion that just has like cabin-esque paneling. Like, you know what I mean? Like, but that shit. Ah, we could do a massive LAN tournament. It'd be so much fun. Shane, I live in Tennessee, and Filthy lives in Illinois. So
Okay. Yeah, I'm in Illinois. I'm like 45 minutes, 50 minutes southwest of Chicago.
Mm-hmm. And I'm like 30 minutes east of Nashville. So, but yeah, so outside of that content, I've definitely thought we didn't talk about this question at all before the show. Mostly because I didn't want to talk about the questions before the show. The whole thing is it's like a mail-in thing. We haven't thought we've had some very loose discussions about like long-term planning for the show, but right now it's sort of week by week. The planning is what we're going to do to fill the content while our regularly scheduled content can't happen, i.e. during the off season when there's no regular stuff to cover. But rest assured that we understand it can get a little monotonous with the podcast being repetitive through the course of a cycle. So we're talking about stuff that that will change things up. And episodes like this are part of that too, right? And the fact that we are not afraid at all to delve into subjects and topics that aren't necessarily related to Madden, because we all live and breathe Madden, so occasionally it can be fun to get a little break from it. But I don't know, like, Filthy, what do you think? Like, what are some things that you'd like to see us do that are a little bit different?
Well, here's the thing is I think it's going to be a little bit different when we have more than 2 seasons to work with, you know what I mean? Because we can start, voting on, like talking about you're going to get a wider range of things and a wider range of stories to talk about then, you know what I mean? Rivalries are going to start to develop, things like that are going to start to happen. Those are things we talked about all the time that kind of like expanded in the show. So I feel like before we were just like, okay, well, this guy's good, this guy's good, this guy's good, this guy's been beating everybody. I feel like we're gonna have more to talk about. I feel like depending on how this goes, we could try this format more. Starting earlier and doing them live. I think that'd be a really cool like idea. And that it was a really good point by Rice. Can't lose the fucking VOD. You can't fuck it up if it's fucking saved like that. We did it live, so
yep.
I like the meetup idea. That's cool. I mean, like I feel like the sky's the limit. There's definitely like I'm ready. Like we've gotten a lot of advice, man, and I feel like that's kind of taken this to a higher level. So like I would be really interested to see any kind of like advice going forward that way. But I think it'll be a little bit of the same format to start with, and just echoing what you said, we'll just kind of see where it evolves. That's kind of how this whole podcast came to be, and where it's come to now is just like shaking the dice how it goes.
Yeah, I agree, and that's part of the.
Mm-hmm. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. Like Shane's reminding me, Dark. I forgot. We should announce that was the winner of that $20. By the way, for listening to the entire 3.5-hour goddamn podcast we did, where we talked about all the team tier rankings and all that shit in that shit show, where we had Doc like come back from the dead like after 45 minutes. The Cardinals and fucking beats here, man.
Just gonna say. Doc straight up woke up from a nap, and the last thing he remembered was the Cardinals in the wrong tier, and literally just fucking hit that up. But yes. So Dark got $20, literally just for not only listening but paying attention to the show. And Rice, it was a long at 3.5 hours. That was way too long. I don't regret it, but if I ever do that again, I don't know. Maybe I'll do it differently. Maybe I won't.
Sleep as hell. Yeah, you were.
Doc,
bro.
if you guys are watching,
I don't blame you, dude. I was zonked by the end of
honestly,
that.
so this is gonna get uploaded to the YouTube channel, but I'm gonna say this right now. If you are watching this on the YouTube channel, you should probably just go watch the VOD on my channel, because you're gonna need to see chat, because we're gonna be interacting with it.
You can set this up. I'll tell you how. Or I don't know if you pay for the whatever, but where it could go to both at the same time.
Just stream it straight up. Yeah, actually,
to
and I
both
have that
platforms,
too.
and it would save on YouTube. You have the information. We can't do it now because we've already started, and
right.
I'm not restarting. But
no, you're 100% right, and I think I'm. In fact, I know that I have the.
And then between streams, so you could have it set up to where you can click it on only when we're doing this.
No,
big brain.
That is. Yeah, and I can, because I just have never tried, because I don't have a YouTube account to stream to. But yes, actually, that's such a good idea. We will absolutely, the next time that we do a live cast like this, we will just I'll stream it on my channel, and I'll just also cross-stream it to the TSR YouTube. There's no reason not to. That's a great point. And thank you, Shane. Much love. There's a lot of...
I appreciate that, man.
There are many times when I wonder how much of a controlled chaos this podcast even is, like how controlled the chaos is, or if it's just chaos. But we definitely it's part of. I agree. I think it's part of it's the secret ingredient. Honestly, is the go with whatever happens, and yeah. Sometimes that means you have to record a podcast 3 times before it sticks, but that it gets the content. First podcast without a restart. That's only happened in 50% of our podcasts, Shane. The other 50% went off without a hitch. But okay, so I think that's a good answer to those questions about where we're going.
Yeah, where we're going with 100%. I think we could move on to the next one.
Yeah. All right, so Bloom King, he sent us, what's your prediction for who will make the Super Bowl Season 1? So...
I've actually gotten an answer to this by watching the tournament.
Okay.
I think Zevins. Zevins.
I can't really disagree, because he absolutely smoked the shit out of me. I think
Zevins will make it year 1.
8 interceptions against him.
And I could see... Honestly, Doc was the first guy I played. I could see Doc making, depending on what team he ends up with. Though. But that's true. He's so low in the draft.
He's low in the draft, and he's also an unknown commodity. Okay, yes, he smoked me. I'm playing terribly, and he
blanked J Smooth.
Yeah, he did smoke J Smooth too. So he's beating good users, but it's a small sample size.
It is a small sample size. It is. I know I'm going to play better than what my sample size has been. The practice just isn't there yet. Some of these guys, man.
I'm sure
these guys no life did. Jesus, all props to you. I miss being able to do that.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, seriously. That's part of the difference. I think the game will play differently when we're playing in the league and it's on simulation versus competitive. Again, how much, who knows? But likely the difference between the Super Bowl champion and
it's Evans.
The Super Bowl champion, the difference between the Super Bowl champion and the AFC champion, that doesn't win, that's usually it's a small margin. So if something changes from competitive to simulation, that's even a small change, who knows? That could change, at the very top, that could be the difference. Also, Evans, yes, got that. Heard that. It's hard to say. I'll say I love that take, because it's a hot take, but it's one that's got some merit. He has done really well to start off. And yeah, dude, Doc was absolutely just beating the brakes off of people. The last time that I checked, like, the tournament spread and
He's
rankings and
4-0
stuff,
with a +71, dude.
yeah, that's not so terrible. Um,
Mm-mm.
Looking else, obviously, Hive's off to a great start in his division. He's 3-0, and he was in the group of death, remember? We called it
Mm-hmm.
that. So anybody that's going to be 3-0 in the group of death, I like. I love that your group D is really close right now. I think that's really exciting. Looking at my group, um, I feel like I can at least get out of the group because nobody else is really taking charge. Um, and then like Group A as well. And this is not meant to be a discussion of the tournament, but that's kind of the best. That's sort of like the best way that we have to gauge where people are right now. If I'm just gonna blindly pick a Super Bowl champion, and the one thing that I'll say is, I'm not stupidly comfortable with picking a Super Bowl champion, just because, as you just said, Evans is picking lower, so we don't know where teams are. We don't know where divisions are gonna settle. So some teams are gonna have and users are gonna have an easier path to the Super Bowl, and they're thus to win it based off of just teams and who's playing in whose league alone. Um, so it's hard to say, but definitely teams that I think are going to be in the mix: Doc, Evans, Raven, or Hive are the three people that are undefeated in their divisions so far in the tournament, and I think that holds some amount of weight. Um, but again, you've got guys like, okay, Bomber is 1-1. Do I think the fact that he lost one of his games means that he's not going to be competing for Super Bowl year one? Of course
I
not.
want to see me humbly.
Um,
I like that energy.
so,
My
so
energy
it's
right there, Doc. I love that
yeah,
shit.
Doc. That's such bullshit, though. Evan's tough. He don't want to see me humbly. Get the fuck up out of here. Like, ain't nothing humble about that. Ain't nothing humble about that. Um, but yeah. So I think those are. I guess if the question is just straight up prediction for who will make the Super Bowl, I guess that's literally impossible to answer only because we don't know who's in the AFC and the NFC, right? So I could predict two users to play each other in the Super Bowl, and then what if they both end up in the AFC? Like,
Mm-hmm.
they'll never play in a Super Bowl. Um, but I could see, I could see Doc Evans. Doc Evans sounds like a name. That's just a name. I could see Doc versus Evans. I could see Hive. Well, okay, you know what? And I guess I'd need to know. I wish I could go back, and I should go back and watch. Who has Hive played? So Biz hasn't played at all. I take it back. I would take Hive and Doc. I'll take Hive and Doc.
I could agree with that. Right off rip right now, just
No,
because they have the best records in the
no hate
tournament.
to Evans, and as Shane pointed out, he won the Super Bowl in his league. That's fair, and again, you could at this point, again, really early rankings. But the reason that I say that though,
I'm still rolling Evans over Hive, and the reason is +150 with the Commanders, Rams, and Vikings, and he just beat Jay Smooth 45-0, so that's gonna update to like almost plus
was this before
200.
that? Oh yeah, it was.
Yeah,
So okay, yeah,
yeah,
he's
Evans.
doing well.
Yeah, but is Biz just playing in the tournament? Isn't I don't think he's playing in the league full time,
Oh
right?
yeah, that's a good point.
So like, hi, glad you're here. Hope you don't get a participation trophy, but
Right.
in the grand scheme of it, you're just here for the tourney in that respect.
Yeah. So okay, Evans. It's I don't know. I think it's impressive that Hive has gone 3-0 in what we all agreed was the group of death. I think Evans is just smoking people that I think aren't playing well. I don't know. I know that I played like garbage in my game against him. It was not good. And I don't know. I'm sure he's going to be a really good user, and I'm sure he's going to be constantly in that discussion. It's hard to say. Well, I think this has been a productive conversation. I think it's literally impossible to make a prediction before we even know who has what team. So
I could agree.
But those are the...
It's hard to say right now, so based off the tourney, I'm gonna go Evans Doc. Just based off the pluses.
I'll go Hive.
The fours.
I'll go Hive Evans.
Okay.
Doc's
well, you're wrong.
Doc is about to have some words for me, and that's fine. All right, so we're gonna move on then to the next question that was submitted from Doc. What a great segue. I love that. His question was, what is your perspective on breaking multiple rules violations or multiple violations for breaking the rules versus being a cheeser? So, multiple times breaking the rules versus being a cheeser. My first question is, are those the same thing?
No, I don't think so. And, I hate to keep using the kid as the goddamn example, but Buster. So, Buster had, multiple rules violations, in his first, couple of weeks?
Yeah.
And then he matched up to the rules.
What were the rules violations?
Figured it out. I can't remember exactly. That was so long ago. I think I might be able to scroll all the way up in announcements and find them.
You probably could. Let's just guess.
Oh, I can search.
Let's just guess that it was for being cheesy. Do you think that's a safe assumption? No, it's too late. Folks, that's... When his face is that close to the camera, there's no pulling him back. It's like he's going into the abyss. And it's like, you're in that deep space show where it's like, no, you have to come back, you're gonna run out of oxygen. And he's like, I'm so close. And we're like, no, you could kill the whole crew. It's like nothing, it doesn't matter. I'm in his ear right now, he doesn't care. It's like he's going to find out if there's water on the moon. And there's nothing you can tell him that's going to stop him. Also, that segment was brought to you by For All Mankind, now streaming on Apple TV+. Not sponsored, but I've been watching it, and it's a fantastic show. I don't pay for Apple TV+, so I'm never going to get sponsored by them. But yes, it's a great show, and everyone should watch it if they can do so. Shane, is being cheesy a rule, though? No. It's not a rule. But plenty of cheesy things are against the rules. And that's where I'm at. 100%. For the record, I posed the question just because it was an interesting question. I absolutely think that being cheesy and being a multiple rule violator are two different things. I think that in every sim league there are cheesy users. They're not as egregious as
There's
cheesy
people
users
that walk the fucking line.
Yeah.
They tiptoe that line, dude.
Right.
They try to find any fucking loophole they possibly can.
It's like
you're never gonna get rid of that. You're never gonna stop that.
Rather than being just a block of cheese, instead they are a charcuterie board that has some meats and some crackers, some whole grains, and some cheese, right? It's partly there. It's not the entire game, but it's there. So I think cheesy users exist in every sim league, or cheese-ish users exist in every sim league. They are notably and obviously much better than what you'll find in non-sim leagues. I think, for the record, there's a night and day difference. But I mean, Filthy, you and I have both had discussions about many users over many of our leagues where we're like, that guy's good, but he's a little cheesy. And it's not like the end of the world, but it's there, you know?
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, I'm done looking for this because I'm gonna be there forever.
Right? Yeah.
Sorry, Jesus, Dad. Yeah,
I
no.
don't know. I don't like that at all. But
What a
like,
charcuterie board is.
half these listeners don't know what a charcuterie board is.
I just put it in tackle box.
I'm not gonna look up a charcuterie board. I'm not. I want to, but I'm not going to. Look it up yourselves. If you don't know what a charcuterie board is, look it up. They're easy. It's a really easy way to impress a lot of people. I'll put it that way. Charcuterie boards are not hard. You put one together, someone's gonna be like, "Oh my god." Yeah. So anyways, like I said, I definitely think that there's a huge distinction between being cheesy and like the verses like multiple rules violations is somebody that just doesn't care. They're like somebody, and again, how many? Buster obviously cares. Multiple would be more than one. If he got more than one, then I'm not meaning to insinuate that he doesn't care. But and obviously, like we've all talked about, he changed the way that he played to be just wasn't accustomed to sim leagues, right? There's a difference, and
well, yeah, and everybody starts somewhere, man.
Right,
like 100%. So
Oh,
like,
shit,
if you can
man.
mold yourself, then I feel like it's different.
Dude, in the
But
first
then
sim
you have some
leagues-
people who just don't care. They're like, "LOL, get good scrub," and I'm like, "LOL, you run 2 plays that manipulate AI. That's fine, okay."
Right, and I think there's a difference than that, or a difference in that. Like there's two different things. So
Yes.
cheesy in terms of like rules, breaking the rules is doing something that is directly against like a written code. Being a cheeser has varying levels. There's nuance to it. So it's like you can be cheesy and not break rules. So that's, I guess, where I look at it. Do you have any other thoughts on that?
No, not really. Like, I mean, that one's it's. It just depends on it depends on if because like I feel like there are people that are cheesy that can like adapt to sim leagues and play in sim leagues. It really just depends on the person and their mentality. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, and again, I think that there are sim users that are a little more cheesy than others.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like
Yeah.
I just think so that's why I said it's like being cheesy is like there's a scale. Like if you're just a hard cheeser, then you're not a sim user. But I think there are sim users that are a little cheesy, so that aren't breaking rules. But that's, I don't know. That's where we think about that. All right, so we'll go to the next one. That one came from Doc, as I said, and then this one I like a lot. This one comes from Noobs. He says, "How do you think the battle between size and speed in receivers is going to go? Personally, I'm thinking size right now."
Oh man, because they changed it, dude. Speed's not as killer as it used to be. DBs are way stickier. And them big body guys and them high passes, bro. I've been hitting. Shane will tell you, fade routes. I've been killing people with big receivers on fades. So like, I think size is gonna be viable this Madden, dude. I think you're gonna see 88 to 90 speed, tall receiver, big body, high catch stat, good jump guys be very viable this year and more than just red zone guys, especially over the middle, like in possession catching and like I think you're gonna see a little of that this year. Definitely more than you have in past. I think especially like they've nerfed the speed. It doesn't feel as hardcore as it used to be, and also I feel like they focused way more on press and release this year, and like all that shit off the line and the receiver footwork and the DB footwork. So like you're seeing guys like get open in different ways now too.
Yeah.
That to me is just super interesting, and it's been fun to lab with and experiment and try to build a playbook, man, and figure out like what I like and what I want to do this year.
Yeah. I think you hit the nail on the head. There's a lot of emphasis on like press versus release. I haven't played enough to know, but I think that I've played enough to know when my receiver runs a sloppy route, and it pisses me the fuck off because I don't care how fast you are. If you're not like making the right cuts, it literally does not matter. And so in that respect, a bigger guy but usually your big body receivers don't have better route running. What I will say is this: I definitely agree. I think the evidence is like nigh indisputable that speed has been, I don't want to say nerfed, but it doesn't matter as much as it used to. However, where I think speed matters more now is getting away from people when you have the ball. So, off ball, it does seem as though speed doesn't even matter. But on ball, if I've got a guy who's ridiculously fast, I might be able to make you look like an idiot if I can hit him in the right hole in the zone and he just dodges a few people and just runs away from everybody else. And that's the difference where I think, as well as in man coverage, you're probably not just going to win on a straight fly route unless there's a huge speed disparity. But where you might win is if he can get some separation because he's also a good route runner, and then I can throw to him, and then he's just going to run away from the guy behind him, and there'll be no chance to catch up. It's the same way, like, if you can get it to somebody in space. That kind of concept.
Shane brought up some good points. The improved zone coverages have helped nerf the speed, and I will say that 100%. They did improve zone this year.
Yes.
A lot. I'm way more trusting of giving people up to other zone defenders than I ever have been.
Yeah. I think it's definitely... But here's the thing. And so the big body receivers, you can maybe throw them touchdowns easier if you're in the red zone. Deep balls.
Well,
maybe
even jump balls on fades, man.
Yeah, any jump ball, really. Like, they're going to have a bigger advantage. But I still don't think I would go so far as to say that they're just clearly going... Because here's the thing. And I've always thought this. I even thought this last year. I don't think you're building a smart receiving core if you're just focusing on speed or just focusing on size. I think the way to build your receiving core is to have a mix. You want a guy that's fast, right? Every receiving core should have somebody that can just take the top off of a defense, so they have to respect it. Or maybe that's not even a guy that's going to take the top off of a defense, but if you can get him the ball in space, he's going to do damage. But you also need big body receivers who are going to win contested catches, whether that's in the end zone or whether that's a 50-yard deep ball. So, the one thing that I will say is you see less of just the really fast guy running past somebody on a streak. You see less of that. I think that is...
Unless they get a good release at the line.
Right.
Off their route and shit.
But
and like...
Even
or
then,
if...
like... And that's why I said, like, the big body guys... I have plenty of receivers that, like, beat the press, but they're not fast enough to just pull away from the cornerback. And the cornerback
you have to
catches
wait
up.
You have to wait longer, too, with those deeper throws.
I
man.
feel like
I'm
it's worse if you wait longer. Because they just catch up more because the coverage is sticky.
I'm telling you, because I've burned people over the top, man.
Okay.
Like, you can do it. 100%. It's just...
Well, and it also depends on
once you see it for the first time and you see the animations and you're like... It sticks a little bit clearer and it's going to be easier to see.
And that also depends on, like, what you define as winning the press battle at the line of scrimmage. Right? Like, if you don't actually just get away real clean...
They interact watch your receivers at the line, like in the game, because they interact way different than they used to, like way different.
It used to be pretty cut and dry, like, and it also used to be every press got beat pretty bad with enough time.
Yes.
It used
with
to
enough
be
time. Yes,
press was literally just I will get pressure and get to the quarterback. And if I don't get to the quarterback, I am fucked because I could have 99 press, and eventually that guy's going to get out of it and burn me. Doesn't even matter. And now, press is more of like I can fuck up your route early so that maybe pressure can get there, but like press isn't going to fuck up the coverage later either. Depending. It can. If you have a guy with great release, then it's over. But if it's evenly matched, you can press and still cover the play after. which
I
is
played a
not
game with the
something.
Raiders with Devontae and was just smoking people at the line. It was stupid, dude. Where I was just like, he's running a comeback, but I'm just gonna throw that now.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, literally, and that, like that's good to see because that's literally why Devontae Adams is maybe the best receiver in football. You watch him
It's
talk about his
because
footwork.
how is his footwork and his release at
And
the
that's the
line.
thing. It's
100%.
like everybody completely off topic, but that's kind of the whole theme of this podcast tonight, anyways.
I'm gonna make it drink
If
real
you
quick.
can, you should watch Devontae Adams talk about footwork because he talks about like I forget what video that I saw, but he was talking about beating like receivers one on or corners one on one like off the line and how it used to be back in the day just were they stronger than you or are you stronger than them, and it's not that anymore, especially because DBs are playing off the ball or maybe they're playing like a mixed press versus giving themselves a little bit of fallback space too. So it's not all like hands and arms and upper body strength. He uses his feet to beat all sorts of one-on-one coverage, whether it's press or otherwise. And it's fascinating to hear him talk about it and then watch a play where he used his feet and his body motion to just absolutely toast the guy that was covering him. It's fascinating stuff, and I'd love to see the game to get more that direction, and I think it is. But all of that to say, and I'd like to point out that the people that listened to our podcast last time, used to make a drinking game out of me saying, with that being said, and I feel like I've improved and don't say that as much anymore.
You just said it.
No, well, I'd said it in the example, but what made me think of it was saying all of that to say, which is basically the same thing.
Which is the same as you saying that being said. That being said.
All that to say. As for speed versus size, again, I think you want a good mixture of both, and I think their uses are just different this year than they were last year.
I think you're going to see a lot more guys, though, with bigger receivers that can go up and get the ball this year than you have in years past, by far.
I do.
I'll be shocked. And I think the guys that build around solely speed, I think they're going to have a little bit of a harder time with certain corners, man. Definitely.
I agree. Alrighty. So Darkness hit us up with can we get a user breakout candidate for this cycle from each podcaster? User breakout candidate. I don't know if we want to give that to somebody that we think hasn't been successful before but will be, or like more of a comeback user of the year, maybe a user that was down last year but we think will come back strong this year, or how you want to do that. I think if we're just looking at like breakout candidate, the obvious answer is probably Evans, solely because he wasn't in the league last year.
Yeah.
But I don't necessarily think that that's the best way to go about it, you know? Like, who do we think is going to have, like, a solid campaign? The other thing is, it's a little hard to say this, being as it was just 2 seasons, the last cycle.
Mm-hmm.
That wasn't a whole lot of time for us to see users develop rosters and things like that. So, it's hard to say. Obviously, Evans is a pick there. I don't know. What are your thoughts?
Evans, Doc, Dark. I think Dark will figure out the game. I know he labs hard. He practices hard. That's going to be another person I think I'm going to try to lab a bunch with soon, because I know he likes to share, stuff he sees, stuff he finds, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Dark was really good last year, too.
I agree.
I think he'll get it together.
The more I thought about, like, not liking Dark as a breakout candidate, because I was like, I feel like he was pretty good last year, but he also never really
Dark was good until
that.
He got to the playoffs.
Yeah.
Or late season, he'd start to fall apart. I think he's going to be more solid this year. I think he's going to be really focused. I think he got, like, a little bit of taste of success last year, but would fall off at the end, and I think he's going to be more focus come end of season. As for like newer guys that came in, I think Evans and Doc, just because they're both solid users. You know what? I'll throw my man Shane in there. I think Shane will make the playoffs a couple of times and make some runs this year. I think he's gonna have to develop a team depending on who he gets. But like the man labs. I know this because like multiple times this week we have labbed into like 3 in the fucking morning.
In
dude,
my fucking
just
Discord.
Game after, yeah, in your Discord, just
I'm
chilling,
bullshitting,
dude.
and all of a sudden, boom, boom, and it's Shane.
Yep.
And then I just hear you really low on the mic, like, "All right, man, are you home or away?" I'm just like, "Oh,
Yep.
there they go, labbing again."
Yup. It's Madden season, bro. It's time to lab
It is.
figure this game out.
Madden season. Yeah, I agree with that. I like it. I think that I definitely think Shane. He's a tough nut to crack. Because I think he cared all of last cycle. I think he just had the Rams.
Yeah, I think his team was kind of.
And the
like,
Rams.
Yeah, the Rams with the right user can be good, but like they're really missing some key. They have some amazing pieces, but they are missing some shit. Like
it's so silly. They literally won a Super Bowl, but they were just not a good team to user. Like
and Madden, they're not a good Madden team. No, there's a big difference in who's a good Madden team and who's a good real life NFL team. Right. 100%, because they have like key pieces that can affect the game. And if you get the right user who knows how to use the Rams, you can get people that are good with them. But like I think for your average user, as much as we hate that fucking term because it's so hard to define, they're not the greatest Madden team.
Yeah. I agree. But yeah, otherwise, I think that and that's the nice thing about this league, and we talked about it ad nauseum, but there's a lot of parity. So there's a lot of teams that I know that there's somebody that I'm not expecting to blow the roof off of the place, but that might come in to surprise me. And there's a lot of candidates for breakout, and once we get a full cycle with 5-6 seasons in,
I'll throw my name in that hat.
No.
You're
not allowed because you had too much success last cycle.
That's true.
It wouldn't be a breakout, right?
Yeah,
you could throw my hat in that ring if you wanted to, but I don't think I'm going to. So, who knows? Don't fight. Have some faith in me. You ass. You're like,
well, get on and practice with me tonight.
Okay. All right, it's settled then. Nope.
Have a little faith, Arthur.
Have a little. Oh, God. There are certain lines from certain games that can trigger the fucking shit out of me.
Stay a while and listen.
Oh no, that one I like.
That one I like. I miss Deckard Cain.
Stay a while and listen. Yes, he's great. All right, so I think we've covered that fairly well.
Yeah, I think we covered that one pretty good. That was good. I liked it. I think those are 3 good candidates for a breakout player that I can name off the top of my head.
Yeah.
No offense to anyone I didn't name, but just quick fire. First people I could think of, those are the people that came to mind.
All right, so we have a few questions that I think are excellent ones to wind down the cast. Before we do that, are there any questions that you have that you want to just lab with your mind?
Okay. If you had, because you have a later pick in the draft, right? If you had the number 1 pick in this draft right now, you are on the fucking clock, sir. It is Saturday the 27th. It's time. Who are you taking?
Buffalo.
Clock's ticking. Buffalo?
Yeah.
Yeah. They're actually, I was doing some looking into them. They're actually kind of an older team.
Okay.
But, obviously you're in win now mode. You have a good team. Josh Allen's going to bail you out of some bad decisions here and there. His accuracies are going to be great. I think that was something that got you in trouble last. Like, I look at it this way, bro, and this is not a dig or not a shot at you in any way, so please don't take it that way. I feel like
I have
if
a
you
fragile ego.
had,
You know this.
I know you do. I feel like if you had a good quarterback off of Rip, a Tom Brady, uh, Josh Allen,
Jalen Hurts
a
was
Joe
ass.
Burrow.
Yes.
Exactly. You're going to be more comfortable in your offense because I know you got shell shocked at a point with the inaccuracies and the bad throws and like how often it would happen. And a lot of that there's other times like I'd call you out on it all the time in your fucking stream chat. Like, why did you throw into triple coverage?
Yeah. Oh
Please
yeah.
no, you stop
Oh yeah.
ranting and bitching. You did that to you. Like,
Plenty
but
of
then there's
times.
other times where like he would sell a throw because his accuracies and his arm was weaker too, and you're just like, man, like Brady doesn't sell that.
Yeah.
So like I
Yeah.
feel like that would make a big difference.
No, and so the reason for me, like, I like, I think Josh Allen is the best quarterback in the game, and I think it's by a long shot. Like, I don't think it's even close. Does he? So, and I'd have to look at abilities. He has Gunslinger, right?
So
He
I have
would
the game open. I can actually look
He would have to.
for you.
If he has Gunslinger, then he's unquestionably the best quarterback in the game. I think
Bazooka. Oh, we're talking about Allen?
Allen, yeah.
He's got Bazooka. The one with Gunslinger, I actually believe is Burrow.
Is Gunslinger an X Factor ability, though?
Yes, it is.
With the
Gunslinger's an
release?
X-Fac now.
Okay.
Yeah, and it ups the throw power on his throws too. So many passers using a combination of mobility and aggressive to make this play when they enter the zone. They have perfect accuracies while throwing on the run. No, so his is run and gun.
Yeah, it's run and gun. Gunslinger is still a superstar ability.
Is it?
Yes.
Okay.
I know this because
I thought that
who
it
has it?
become
We
an
were just talking
X-Factor.
about it. And I'm pretty sure Allen has it.
He does not. Bazooka, fast break, pass lead, elite, dashing, deadeye.
That seems silly to me that they would give him fast break over Gunslinger. But fast break is also good. And
Actually, guess who does have Gunslinger is Kyler Murray.
yeah. I still think that, again, that that Josh Allen is the best quarterback in the game. I think he has the best. If you're just, and I know everybody talks about abilities, and what were Allen's other abilities?
I know one of them was dashing, deadeye.
Yep. Which is perfect accuracy on throws on the run, except for high-low.
Yeah, fast break. Passers with the ability to receive better blocking support as design quarterback run plays, which makes him really good on rollouts. Pass lead elite passers with the ability to have increased throw power on bullet precision passes.
Just
Except
on
on
bullet,
high-low throws.
but
Yeah, just
like,
on bullet.
all right, sold. What was it? What was it again? Have increased something in accuracy. Was it like throw speed?
Have increased throw power.
Throw power.
Yeah.
Which I assume, and again, I wish they would just fucking tell you what that actually meant, but I would assume that means like better zip on the ball.
It better. I think it's gonna be a quicker release.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, if I'm right.
Yeah. So dashing deadeye and pass lead elite are ridiculously good talents for a quarterback to have. So okay, Josh Allen, unquestionably the best quarterback. He has the best throwing, like base attributes. He has the best base attributes. Period. He has like I know. What about Lamar can run? That's fine. Josh Allen can also run, not as well as Lamar, but almost. Like he's got like 89 or bet. He's got 89 speed, I think, and 90 something excel. Like
You can get moving.
he can fucking move. He has a cannon for an arm, and his accuracy stats are nuts. And because I think that scrambling has been nerfed enough, like, it's not non-existent, it's just not as strong as it used to be. I think that he is like a dream pocket passer with a little bit of get out of trouble ability. And that's exactly what you want in this Madden. And so I think he's unquestionably the best quarterback at that. And so outside, and because quarterback is the most important position, outside of that, there's also really good pieces there too. It's not like he's the best quarterback on a shit team. He's the best quarterback on a really good team. And they might be old, and that's fine. You can work your way around that. I, without question, think that they are the best team to take in Madden, if I'm picking at one. Now, if I want something that's more adventurous, if I want to rebuild, or something I have more control over the roster for, there might be other picks. But I think the Bills at 1-1 just make the most sense. What about you?
Bengals.
Yeah?
Yeah, if the Bengals fall to me at 6, I'm not going to skip them. There's no way. There could be other teams there too. I love Burrow. I love Chase. I've been a fan of Joe Mixon and Madden for a long time.
Not in
they
real
have
life.
a solid, not in real life. They have a solid core on defense. I had great success with Trey Hendrickson in a league last year. So, like, I think, with pass rush being viable, he could be good. They're so young, man, and they're so fucking talented. Burrow's X factors help him out greatly. Even though he's got a lower throw power, his accuracies are great. Jamar's a blend of, like, he's 6 foot, so he's not the tallest, but he has size, speed. He's a great deep ball guy. They respected T. Higgins a little bit more and gave him 88, so he's a little bit better. And I think, like we already talked about, bigger body receivers are going to come into play this year. They did a lot to improve their offensive line. It's still not the greatest in the game, but adding La'el Collins definitely helps. Yeah, I love it. And, like, they drafted Daxton Hill, too. Like, 93 speed safety. He's going to have a lot of range, good coverage. That was their first round pick. Their corners are better. Like, Awuzi's an 85 now. Hilton's an 82. Apples, I wouldn't even be. Him and Flowers are a 76. Flowers would start just so I would not have Eli Apple out there.
Yeah.
I love everything about him, man. I know they're in the Super Bowl last year and they were the darling, but, like, especially with them giving Burrow X Factor, that makes the Bengals sexy. I also have absolutely... Oh, you don't like Jamar Chase at all? You don't like Jamar Chase, Shane?
Shane's he's a Chase hater.
So, but I don't think they'll be there for me at 6. I really don't. I think I'm gonna end up more in, like, Arizona, San Diego, Cleveland. I could see myself ending up there in one of those 3 teams.
You're maybe the first person ever that has just willingly off thought said, I could see myself in Cleveland.
Fucking Believeland, baby. The Believeland.
Yeah, but that city's shit.
God, again, that city is terrible. As somebody who's been there, I'm sorry if you're from Cleveland or, like, that team or that city. That city's dog water, and my city gets Chirac. I have
a lot of family that was born in...
He just beats me a lot. Yeah, no. I feel you, dude. That's why I like him so much.
Nobody likes people that beat them, right? It's just...
Yeah.
You gotta hate that person. I have a lot of family that lives around or was born in Cleveland, so, I mean, it's... still, fuck Cleveland. Yeah, it's really hard to disagree with that as a number 1 pick. Like, I don't think... If I saw the Bengals get picked first overall, I'd be a little surprised, but I wouldn't be shocked. And it's, I guess there's just like, it's not just the 2 teams we talked about. There are other teams that I could see going 1, and I wouldn't think it was a bad pick. But the one thing that I will say about what you said, I love that they put some fucking respect on T. Higgins' name, because when I had the Bengals a couple of years ago, T. Higgins was like,
it's like
cuttable.
84 speed,
85 speed,
like some stupid
and that was in the
like
Madden
that.
where speed, like, speed wasn't the everything, but if you have an 85 speed receiver, I can give you like 20 tight ends in the league that are faster. So you can just fuck off. And yeah, as a result, T. Higgins got cut because there was he was a young star development receiver that I literally couldn't utilize because he was worthless. So yeah, love the respect that they put on his name. All right. I don't. So you had that question. Do you have another one?
Unless you have one.
Not off the top of my head.
Okay, off the top, or here's another one for you. What do you value more in a team? A good starting offense or a good starting defense? Let's say about like median average, you know what I mean, for like age. It's not like a decrepit old team that's just fucked beyond belief. We'll say in the rebuilding, developing, right on that line stage. Like, what do you fucking value? What do you value more at the end of the day, offense or defense?
That's a great question. I think it. I was gonna say it depends on who my quarterback is, like regardless of offense. But maybe that answer is just not right. Because the way that I'm thinking is if I've got a great quarterback, the rest of my offense, like sort of the way that I'm hoping things work out for the Packers this year, I think the Packers, and like we've been over this before, but I think the Packers are going to have like, I legitimately think they're going to have a top 5 defense in the NFL. I think they're guaranteed to have top 10, but their defense is
defense
nuts.
is sexy.
And so then you're also telling me I have Aaron Rodgers. I give a shit less what the rest of the offense looks like. I have Aaron Rodgers and a top 5 defense. That should mean success. But conversely, if I have a terrible quarterback, it kind of doesn't matter if the offense around that quarterback is great. Outside of your offensive line being indomitable and you have a nuts running back. Because if those two things aren't both true, again, you could have an indomitable offensive line, but like it's mediocre everywhere else, you're still not going to have a great time. Or you could have an insane running back, but if your offensive line sucks, it won't matter. Then having the quarterback is also aided more by having a great defense. But that's just because of like my experience with being able to user things. I guess if I had an offense, if I had a great offense, you know what? I will say, hey, thank you for that gifted sub there, Filthy, to my channel. I guess the more I think it's a tough question to answer because I'm like a good defense is like a great defense is just always great. So you don't even have to worry about it. But at the same time, I mean, like in TSR last year, I had a great defense. Fletcher Cox got a lot of sacks. I had interceptions. I was always in the top 10 in like defensive statistics. And I didn't ever do anything in the play. I never got to the playoffs. So I guess I would roll my dice with the good offense. Because with a good offense, if I can score enough points and it's a shootout, I'll take that, roll the dice that I'm going to get a coin flip interception or some shit like that. And also, those games are more fun for me to play. Well, they're both fun, don't get me wrong. Like, close games are always, like, they're intense. And in that way, they're always fun. So I guess after all of that, I guess I'd say offense. But I'm also just, like, I'm an offensive-minded user that just has been better defensively than offensively the last couple cycles. Which has put me in a weird spot personally and philosophically. But yeah, no. I want to score points. Because here's the thing. Losing a game where I don't score anything feels bad. if I score a ton of points and still lose, it's like, well, it's still, even though they can be the same if it's a close game, it still just feels not so bad if I scored a lot of points. So it's like, oh, if I could have gotten that one stop, you know. But it's, again, though, it's so, it is the impossible question to answer, because you can win the game both ways, and at the end of the day, that's all I care about is winning. I don't give a shit about anything
100%.
else. I just want to win. So I think it's been easier for me to win with a better defensive team recently, but I don't like that. I'd rather be better offense. What do you think?
Me personally, I'm going to take the better offense every time. Same reason you said the quarterback. While it's fun to develop quarterbacks and shit, I'm all about winning. And I honestly feel like overall, my history has shown I'm a better defensive user than offensive user. So if you give me more weapons on offense, I feel like that will help with some of my deficiencies sometimes on offense. Whereas my defense, I'm good at recognizing some of the things that people do and then making adjustments. You know what I mean? Where there is shade down, shade out, shade in, like these kind of things. Like the game within the game that puts my players in position to make plays. So I'm gonna take that, you know, every single fucking time. Personally. And I know some people are different with that. They do, you know, when they need top tier defenses. You know, some people suck at defense. I personally feel like I'm better at defense, even though I've been historically a defensive line user that has been working more on user coverage, and actually I've been starting to make some plays. So it's to me it's the offense. I hate rookie quarterbacks. I feel like my English teacher in high school, dude, I hate freshmen. Like, I was a junior in a freshman class, and he's like, "That's why I like you, Patterson. You're not a fucking freshman." He's like, "You're not a piece of shit. You're a little quiet. You listen in class." It's like, it's because I got in trouble my whole life. Please don't send me back.
That's awesome. I love that. And yeah, no, totally valid. And yeah, it used to be, dude, back in the day, I'd have given you the same answer but mirrored, and it would have been I prefer a better defense because I just work well on offense. Like, give me what you got.
Yeah.
But that's not the case anymore. So, yeah. Either way, there's certainly going to be fun new ways to win games with a new game. Yeah. So we'll see. Should be a lot of fun. But that's a good one. And like I said, at the end of the day, like, whatever helps me win, because that's really all that matters. All right. Well, let's go to some of these questions that we've got for the end. So Rice already named this. He commented it way early at the beginning. But he just said, how much time have you dedicated to podcasts, prep, etc.? All totaled up.
A lot.
Yeah.
Like, because, like, think about it, dude. We did it twice for our own league.
Yeah.
And then we're doing it again. Now, I would say the prep, there's not much prep, guys. Here's the prep. Is us texting, what time are we starting tonight? That's the prep. There is no prep.
I called you, like, we talked on the phone on our way home from work tonight about it a little bit.
Briefly. Like, it's brief. So there's not a lot of prep. Recording, a lot. I mean, we had more hiccups this time around, but that's because, like, last time there was no visual. It was just audio. Like, you listen to us on, like, SoundCloud and shit like that back then.
Literally.
So, like, we've definitely advanced in that stage for this. Huge shout outs to guys like Shane, you know, who have helped us with that aspect, you know, because it's grown a lot from where it started. We've sunk in a lot of hours though. Like the 2-hour thing, guys, that's not fucking new. And J-Dog's been saying we're going to run short ones forever. I've given up on that a long fucking time ago. I record these on the... Guys, my wife looks at me and goes, podcast? See you tomorrow. Like, I love. If you can hear me, I'm right under our room. Love you. Like, she's fucking great, man. She puts up with my ass and actually hates it, but quasi supports me in all this shit. She's the first person to congratulate me when I win. Like, when I come out of this room and like come out of that door afterwards, she's the first person to ask me if I won or lost.
Well, so. it's as much to congratulate you and
it's
also
to figure out if I'm pissed off or not. Yeah, no, exactly, dude. Although I have gotten better at that over the years. It doesn't like I remember when I was younger, it used to piss me off and like fuck my whole day. I'd be in the lab for hours afterward. Now I kind of lose and I'm like, well, I played like shit.
Yeah.
I'm gonna hang out with my kids and go do stuff like that. Like I have other things in my life that bring me joy too, outside of winning. Where I feel like for a long time I focused on just winning in everything I was doing. Where now it's just kind of like I have other things that do make me happy outside of like winning in competition and games.
Well, goddamn, that's healthy. You
fucking A right, dude. Weird. It took me a long time to get there, dog.
Out?
Yeah, you don't have to.
Well, no.
It was just
instructions unclear. Impregnating someone tomorrow.
Jesus Christ! Please don't do that.
Why do you want to do this? So that I get less angry about losing in Madden.
No,
that's
just
the best
came
reason
with
to have kids, as far as I'm concerned.
That just came with growth, dog. Go hang out with your niece after you lose. Go play a game with your niece, even as infuriating
no, because
as
her
toddlers
rules
can
to
be.
games are bullshit.
Okay, you have to listen. It's their world. You're living.
Yeah.
Just hang out and ride the wave, dude. It can get interesting.
Trust me, I do. There's been times where I was just like, oh, so that's what's happening now? And she's like, yep. And I'm like, all right. I guess this is the way the world is.
Here we go, dude.
Yep, here we go.
Here we go.
Oh, shit. But yeah, no, it's definitely, so in terms of total time, it's got to be in like the hundreds of hours at this point. And almost all of it is, like, not joking, we do like the base level amount of preparation that is required to produce the product that you are consuming. And when I say that, what I mean is you're watching these podcasts or listening to them and you're like, these guys are all over the fucking place, but in a way that I love. That is
like, I'll be honest. So every time we release, and like we just said, we dumped hundreds of hours to these, and like, I want you to know, guys, to me, that doesn't feel like hundreds of hours wasted or like work or anything like that, dude. Because here's what happens is I release this and the next day I get fucking tags the entire day. That's like, loved it, loved it, loved it, loved it. And like, dude, I don't know, just not stroking my ego, but I genuinely do see those, even though I don't respond every time. I know I like cathead Bob to like fucking everything, but I do see those and they do make me go like, damn, cool, that was worth. I didn't just get to hang out with my best friend and bullshit about a game we both love. Like, that was worth the fucking time we put into it.
Yes. 100%. And I guess I should just move on, because like all I'm gonna say is gonna echo that. I couldn't say it better. You just you hit the nail on the head. We don't do this because we joke that we do it because we need a content score that's great. Rice.
Rice. Love you, Rice.
No, but like we do this because we enjoy doing it, and like exactly. I can't think of a better waste of my time than bullshitting with my best friend about a game that I love. Like, it just, if that's just wasting time, then I'm totally okay with wasting time. And that's kind of the way that it is. That's why these podcasts tend to be a little bit more unhinged than they could be, but at the end of the day, we're here having fun. That's what we're doing. Like, it may seem nerdy as hell, but we're having fun. That's why sometimes the shit goes 2.5 hours, because we're just having a good time. And
it was funny. I'm not trying to cut you off. I don't want to lose this thought.
Yeah.
My wife was talking to somebody recently and I was talking to her sister and they were talking about sports. And her sister Cassie's like, yeah, I can't watch baseball. I can do it in person. I can't do it on TV. She's like, but I can watch football. And Crystal, my wife, was like, I used to not be able to watch football because I didn't understand what was going on. And then one day her brother sat her down and like taught her enough where she could like watch it. And then she told her sister though, she was like, then I met Scott. And I learned a lot about football.
It was a do or die situation.
Yeah, for real. She was like, I just embraced it. It's part of life. It's part of life in our household. So
Yeah. No, but I mean, honestly, it's like that's just what it is. We're having a good time, and I love that people enjoy it 100%. It'd be disheartening if everyone was like, we fucking hate this shit. But what's been actually really uplifting is that when people have constructive criticism, it's exactly that. It's because they're trying to build us up. When people are pointing out things that we could be doing better, it's always been in a helpful way. It's like, hey, did you notice this? Have you thought about that? It's like not in any sort of way that I'm just like, oh. It's like it's in a good thing. And again, they only like people like y'all have only ever talked to us about this podcast because you care about it and you want to see it be the best that it can be. And so I genuinely appreciate that.
Already. How had I not followed you before? I don't know how you hadn't followed or found either of us before, Shane, because we've been around the sim community. Like, we don't play lobby ball leagues. Like, we've been around the sim community before we were playing sim leagues on Madden.
Well, and not just that, but we've been in sim communities that share the users that we have in this one. So it's like,
yeah, there's a couple of guys in here where I looked at it, or there's a couple of guys that who were here previously that where I was like, whoa, you know what I mean? There was a couple of guys in, I don't like saying other leagues' names on our show, in a different league I was in, that I found that I was like, oh, dude, I know you from WML with fucking all of those guys. So like, it's odd to me that we didn't.
Yep, I agreed. It's weird that we didn't actually meet more of these people before now. Doc, I agree. The live show was a great idea, and you know what? It's one of the few times that I will allow my ego to beat my own chest on air, but like, shout out to us about an hour ago deciding, fuck it, we'll just do this live. I'm glad we took that chance, because it was...
Yes.
I was like, let's maybe do it live.
You guys want a fun, like, just, like, non-football story, non-Madden story? I'm gonna bring this little fucker on for a second. Come here. We're gonna tell everybody what you did today. So this is my cat. His name is Mao, which is Egyptian for cat. Cheers to Mao. Mao's a little shithead. He used to be a stray, so sometimes he likes to be outside. Well, he hasn't gotten out in a while. Well, today I was cooking dinner, and he was sitting in the windowsill, and Mao's a little bit of a chunky boy. He's about 11 pounds. He laid into my screen and fell the fuck out my window, dog. Like, no. while I'm cooking dinner. So, like, I'm like, fuck.
Yeah.
Shut the stove off. Run outside, dude, and like he rounds the building, and then like I thought I saw him go one way, so like I walk down the street and I'm calling for him and I don't see him, and I come back home and my youngest daughter's outside. I'm like, honey, go inside. You're not gonna help this situation. Just go inside.
You have the best intentions, but
so I'm walking by the front bushes in front of my house, and I'm like, I fucking wonder. This is the first place I ever found this bastard, and I go, Mau Mau, and I hear him go, how loud as fuck. He's like scared. I'm like, I look under the bush, dude. He's like pressed to the ground, freaked the fuck out.
Yeah.
Now he's ran away before for like a week.
Yep.
And like this has happened a couple of times with him. And he always comes back. But this time he was freaked the fuck out. So like I'm trying to get him out from under the bush. He doesn't want to come out of the bush. My daughter looks out the front window and I go, get your fucking mom. And I shit you not, my wife comes downstairs, open the front door, and this cat screams really loud, like, fuck! And then runs back inside the house. And I was like, Jesus Christ, that's the shortest time he's ever gotten out.
A new record was set today.
New record, yeah. Also, fucking little bastard. And then I went back to cooking dinner.
It feels as that two things that I want to point out. One, props to you for remembering to shut off the stove, because that's how houses burn down. Shit
I was
like this
cooking
happens.
bacon too, dude. So like I wasn't doing like there was shit with grease. Like yeah, it was legit. Like I went to go get him. I was like, fuck bacon, click, and then fucking ran.
You're smarter than everybody that you're ever gonna read about if you read about like house fire cases. But also, I'd like to think that you finally domesticated him. Like it took a while.
I think Crystal's pregnant. I don't think he was trying to get out this time. I literally think he flopped and hit the screen. Yeah, no, he fell the fuck out.
Right, he was just like, "Oh God, what happened?"
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's great.
So at least I'm not sleeping downstairs tonight, hoping that he comes to the screen and goes, "Let me the fuck in," like he does every other time.
Right. I agree. This was a preferable result.
So I saw him lurking in the corner. I was like, well, let's put your little titty ass on camera. Come here, buddy.
And then he was looking at the door afterwards, like, let me the fuck out of this room.
No, he isn't. Fucking Scrappy's probably out there, like, I hear you.
I hear you.
Yeah, Scrappy, like, he doesn't hurt. He just wants to play with him. My big dumb pit bull just wants to play with my cat so goddamn bad, and the cat does not accept this.
One day.
All right, next question.
Probably
I went way off on a tangent.
Probably never.
You want out, buddy?
Does he actually want out? We're about to find out.
He does. He's probably going to go up and lay with my wife. Go. Bro, I'm not opening it. You're a cat. You can jump. Man, fuck.
He's not wrong.
He does. If you don't know, like, if you're new here, he'll sit in front of that thing and meow at you to open it. Like, he can jump it. He's a fucking liar.
He's a liar and a fraud.
I will leave it correct in case you see that.
Just in case.
Yep. That's my homie. I've had him for as long as I've been with my wife.
Yeah. I mean, hey, he's part of the family.
Mm-hmm.
So he's always got a place. Well, I think that eloquently wraps up our question for how much have we dedicated to how much time has been dedicated to podcast prep. Just the one thing I'll reiterate before we move on.
While you reiterate, I'm like, what's up, dude?
That's awesome. You're gonna have to lead off the next one so I can do the same thing.
Cool.
It's literally been our pleasure, our absolute pleasure to be able to do this. Pleasure is a weird word in that sentence, but seriously, honor. It's been an honor. That sounds so much better. To be able to do this, and to like we've talked about, we're just bullshitting with each other, right? Like this is me talking to my best friend about this league that we care about. And so in terms of the time, it's been a lot that we've put into this. Unironically, could have been less time if we had prepared more. But sometimes it's not about the destination, it's about the journey. And that's really cheesy, but it's true too. Like, we have a great time doing this, and I don't regret any of the minutes that I've spent recording this podcast. I've loved every minute of it. I love the interaction we have with this community, and I can't wait to see what we have in planned going forward. So, yeah, that's my thoughts on that. It's been a lot of time, but it's time well spent. I'll say that. All right, and then our last, it's a series of questions that were given.
We can go down them one by one, but it all came from the same person. Big shouts out to this guy.
Did you give another sub?
Yeah.
I wasn't. Oh, you bastard!
I've been drinking Crown. Leave me alone. It's $15. Plus, it's to Wilsey too. The last two were to Logan and to Wilsey.
Yeah,
so like,
good
love
friends
both
of the
those
channel.
guys. Good friends of the channel and good friends, like people we grew up with and know in real life. So,
let's see if my fucking chat commands still work. Well, I'm not gonna shout out Logan because he doesn't ever stream.
Shout out Wilsey, man. Makes good content.
Wilsey streams.
Ooh. It's still biting shit.
Oh God, the shout out command doesn't work anymore. Whoops. My bot is terrible. I hate this. Well, unless I fucked up I don't think I fucked up his tag. I don't know. If I don't stream often enough, like my bot just stops fucking caring about its job. So, anyways, yeah. Go look at AJ Wilsey. He's an awesome guy. Look at his fucking channel. It's going to be mostly Warzone content, which is what I'm going to be streaming basically exclusively outside of Madden. It's going to be Madden and Call of Duty in a few months here. So if you're enjoying this channel, you'd enjoy his, or at least half of it, or maybe none of it if you're only here for the Madden content. I don't know. But point being, look him up. And I have to figure out this dumbass fucking cloud bot that is just like, derp, derp, I'm here, but useless. So, getting on to the last questions that we have for tonight. Huge supporter of the podcast. Big shout out to Jace Move, because my man gave us some amazing questions to end the podcast on. And also has just generally been a really awesome supporter of the podcast.
Your audio on Discord.
So, what's up?
I can hear you now.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Am I here?
You're here.
Am I alone?
No.
Okay. All right. So, favorite current or former NFL players?
I'm gonna do favorite current and favorite former. Favorite former is really fucking hard for me to say, dude. Just because there's like a couple of guys that come to mind. If I had to say all-time favorite past, it's gonna be Devin Hester.
Okay, can I rephrase?
Could we because I want to separate this. Could we separate it like former 2 category, current 2 category, favorite team, like, and then non?
First of all, this is our podcast. You can turn this question into whatever
cool.
the fuck you want.
That's how I'm turning this question.
Okay. Secondly, what I'm gonna say is I said players. He said guys. So favorite current / former NFL guys. And the reason that I want to point that out is I'll spoil that in my answer. But I think NFL guys means like, you know, anybody involved. Yeah, I mean, it could be.
Mm-hmm.
Let's change it to NFL. Maybe Aaron Andrews is your favorite NFL person. I could see why I should be in your top 10. I don't know why I should be in your top all time, considering the mass fucking pantheon of amazing fucking people. But, like, let's just encompass like, NFL humans. Let's do that. I like that.
Okay. Well, I'll start mine off.
You do
with,
that.
like,
I'm gonna
former...
make a drink.
Yeah, go ahead. So, like, my former favorite players, for the Chicago Bears, I was thinking about this, man, and it's, like, really hard for me to, like, pick, especially since when, like, I was younger and growing up, you had the mid-2000s Chicago Bears. That was, like, the height of my, like, oh my god, dude. You had Urlacher, you had Briggs, you had all sorts of dudes. My favorite out of all of those guys, though, like what I saw, former Bears, was Devin Hester, dude. There was something just mythical and magical about Devin Hester. Dude was just fucking great, man. Like, his speed was electric, how he saw the field. I remember watching an interview with him where, like, he basically said, like, when he returned the ball, he would watch as it was coming back, see the first initial block setup, and then he almost had it choreographed in his mind how he was going to do it. I was going to go here, I was going to make this motherfucker miss, and there should be a seam, and I'll hit it there. Like, he had kick, punt returning, and punt returning down to a science. I look back to a game in Denver, and I want to say 2007 or 2008. We were going back and forth with the Broncos in Mile High Stadium. They kick a punt, or no, it was a kick return after they score. Hester returns it for a touchdown. It's like the next fucking series, dude. They force the Broncos, you know, to a punt. They punt it to him. He returns it for a touchdown. Like, shit was just wild what that man was capable of. Pornhub, except when he lined up a wide. Yeah, no, he wasn't that great at receiver, and, like, honestly, it broke him for a long time. That was one of the moves I wish they didn't make. I wish they would have worked him more as a dime corner, a nickel corner, because that's what he was at his time at Miami. He was the #1 rated cornerback recruit in his high school class. Like, that doesn't translate shit obviously to the NFL, but like I wish they wouldn't have started to focus him as a wide receiver. Although I could pull up and send you Shane, he had a beautiful catch against the Cowboys in like was that 2010, 2011, somewhere in there. Where it was like a one hand over the shoulder on a corner route. That was just fucking beautiful. It was a ball from that was when we had Cuddy. That was like season 3 or 4 of having Cutler when that happened. Favorite former NFL player that I did get to watch play, and not a lot of people, because like we haven't discussed college ball very much. I'm a big college football fan. I do latch on to players from college. Sean Taylor. And like I'm not trying to do like the popular opinion, like the he died. Like I did love Sean Taylor, man, watching his highlights, watching him play, dude. Like, we talked about this. I mean, you knew me back then, man.
Yep.
Like, Sean Taylor, I was one of those dudes I traded for off the Redskins. He had such good hit power.
Yep.
He was so fast. His coverage stats were great. Like, dude was a fucking baller. And he played at my favorite college and made all sorts of plays there. Loss of life sucks, yo, and like that's a dude that like I look back on that like if he could have got to play out his whole career, I wonder what he could have been. Because to me, he hit as hard or harder than Troy Polamalu, and he had on par coverage skills to Ed Reed. 100%. He was the total fucking package. Go back and watch him.
Yeah,
Go back and watch him because the interception numbers aren't low. He's not a Jamal Adams. He's not a guy that can just pop you. Like, he was, honestly, I compare him more. If there was a guy in the league right now that I thought was comparable to Sean Taylor, would be Derwin James.
Yeah.
100%. And I think Sean Taylor would have went down as one of the greatest to ever fucking play. And I still think you could put him in...
Doc just said it best. Taylor was from Mars.
Taylor was from Mars. Yep. Taylor was... He was built fucking different.
Yep.
He was built like a Derwin James in the early 2000s.
Yeah.
You didn't have guys like that. Mm-mm. And he was doing it in the NFL until some stupid kids made a stupid fucking decision and that man died defending his wife and child.
Yep.
Rest in peace, ST26, dude.
Yep.
That's my Hurricanes jersey I own and I wear, dude. I wore it on this podcast. I have a Sean Taylor Hurricanes jersey, dude, to hang it up in that closet right now.
Yep.
Like, that shit sucks. I still share something every year. I have a thing that like I recurrently share that's a rest in peace Sean Taylor thing. Like every time the day comes up, that was a fucking shitty day, dude.
That was a shitty day for everybody that gave a shit about football.
Mm-hmm. And 100%.
Just it should have been a shitty day for everybody, period, because of a senseless loss of life.
Mm-hmm. James Perfect compared 100%.
And Shane, he did play in an age of great safeties, but
he did play in an age of great safeties.
That's not wrong, but I don't think that takes away from in the age of great safeties, I think he was on the track to be better than all of them.
We could do a whole other podcast about college football. I want you to think about this. Ed Reed and Sean Taylor played on the same team at Miami.
That's absolutely insane.
They were on the 01 team, and I think Reed left after 01. I think that was his draft year. And then Taylor was like the main guy in 02.
In 2001, which of the and Shane, I'm sorry, like I didn't mean to.
Pat Tillman was another guy.
Yep.
Right, yeah, Pat Tillman's another guy. It's a big rest in peace too, because he gave up millions of dollars to go fight for something he believed in.
Yep.
And like, I have my own personal opinions on big government and certain things and blah 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 blah. Dude, what the fuck ever. That dude signed up at a time where this country had gone through some major fucking shit, and like, Joel, if you were in the NFL right now, right, would you give up millions of dollars? I'm a selfish piece of shit. I wouldn't.
For anything else? So here, that's a good question. God damn, that might be a deeper question than I think what you meant for it to be. But I think at the time, there was definitely a reason to give up. Like, and again, I should preface this by saying that I've been watching a whole lot of shit about like World War II and the Vietnam War and like just the where like where things are afterwards. Also, Darkness, just a heads up, you don't have to worry about that. I'm recording it while I'm streaming it, so you don't have to worry about that. And also,
yeah, we got it set up for both. Also, shout out to Darkness, man. I don't know if you were here earlier, you missed it. You were one of my picks for breakout player.
Yeah, 100%. But that's good to point out, though, Darkness. All of my streams should be set to save. Not worried about it right now.
Did you get You probably got DCMA'd recently, and it'll change your settings if you get DCMA'd.
You want to know what would be hilarious? If that happened, it would literally be because of MLB The Show.
It's MLB The Show. It's the soundtrack. If you have the soundtrack on while you stream, dude, you will get DCMA'd. 100%.
God damn it.
Stupid.
That's
so fucking stupid. If your music is in a video game, that should not matter.
Holy shit, is that the reason? You might be right, because I actually looked and I was like, man, my last VOD is a long time ago. Anyways,
You mind after smashing you? Dude, I knew you were sleepy. It was funny, though. You were like, I'm tired as fuck, but let's do this. And in my head, I'm like, I'm not going to tell the sleepy guy no.
Yeah.
But you're smashed out phrasing like a motherfucker, dude. Jesus Christ. I didn't catch it at first either. Oh, Dark, welcome to the show. I fucking love it, man.
Dark, welcome to the show. Also, you can't be implicating my boy Filthy and some shit like that. He waits for consent 100% of the time. You might have been sleepy. You might have been sleepy, Darkness, but you said yes, I'll play you in Madden.
Oh, God.
And that's when it went down. No, but seriously,
we talked about it though, bro. We gotta play again soon. I actually said it very early. You're gonna probably go back and listen to this. I said it early on the podcast. You're one of the guys I want to like try to get together and lab with soon because I know you like to share concepts and football knowledge and idea, and that's one of the things I like about you, man. Is you want to help people learn what you know about the game you love, and you turned me on to the things I've been watching with the breakdowns with NFL players and all that, which I in turn turned this bastard onto. So.
Yikes. You've created a monster. But yeah. Anyways, bringing it all back, I definitely think that...
Oh, I didn't say my currents, by the way.
You're right.
Or do you want to do your olds and then we'll do the currents?
Yeah.
I think that'll be a better way. Yeah. You do your olds and then we'll do the currents.
Olds and currents. So this is why I wanted to expand it to like people rather than just players, because I think that
he's a big consent guy. I'm sorry, I just looked over and chat.
Catch up. You're a big consent guy.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, you're good. No, but and again, this is my homer take, but I fucking love like reading about Vince Lombardi. Like that guy was just he was
him and Hallis, man.
Yeah.
Literally, like helped turn invent the game, like.
And they were so committed to winning, like.
Yes, they were.
Like.
Yes, they were.
I quote Vince Lombardi all the time, and my number one quote from him is, "Winning isn't everything; it's the only thing."
Yo, do you remember me talking shit to Hard Hitter? He was Miami FSU. He's an actual FSU fan. He had me down by like 5 points. I bombed a 4 verts, like NCAA 13 or some shit like that. Got it down to the 10, scored. He hit me with the GG, and he's like, but you shouldn't have won that. And I responded with GG, and then Vince Lombardi's quote, when you win, say nothing. When you lose, say less.
Yep. 100%, yeah.
And then he hit me with "fuck you" or some shit, and I just kept responding over and over and over for like 15 minutes.
Because I had told you that. Because you were a notorious shit talker, and then you turned that sentence into shit talk.
When you shit talk about with a quote about not shit talking, beautiful.
It's but I seriously, like he's got so many quotables, and they're like, this man was just so determined to win and took the team. Like, there was a picture that they showed on the Packers subreddit of like in a single picture there were 5 NFL Hall of Famers, which, and again, like whatever, like I'm just a Packers fan blowing smoke up my own ass, but like it was incredible to like look at a single still shot and see 5 NFL Hall of Famers in the same picture. You could never, like, they couldn't take a still shot of any game today and see that.
They're taking a still shot of an Alabama team now.
But I mean, it was just like, these guys are, and like they were Hall of Famers because of what they did, because they committed to a grind in a time when it wasn't the same as the way that it is now, and in a time when it was essentially directed by Vince Lombardi. There's a reason that they named the Super Bowl trophy after him. Like, this was a guy that was so single-mindedly determined on winning at just about all costs that's a guy that I look back to, like, way back in the day. Obvious answers for me, like, I grew up loving Brett Favre, so that's an awesome former player.
Honestly, I'll take Brett over Aaron. At least Brett fucked up crucial moments. Sometimes Brett would shit the bed.
He was, when I say he was a little less surgical than Aaron.
Goddamn, he was fun to watch though. I can go back now, like, you know what I mean. Like, we've talked about this. I'm not your Bears fan. Like, I'm a football fan that is a diehard Chicago Bears fan. I love my team. I love my franchise, good or bad. I ain't stupid, and I know what good football looks like, and I know what bad football looks like. And, like, Brett Favre would be one of my favorite quarterbacks to ever play the game. The only problem is he wore green and gold.
Yeah.
That's about it.
How can you not look at the Monday night game against the Raiders after his dad died and not be reminded about
dude.
football?
For real. 100%.
That's that 100%. Game. Even by Brett Favre standards, he played out of his mind. And people were just like, how could you play tonight? And he was like, because I knew one thing about my dad. And that's that he would never have wanted me to miss a game on his behalf. Like, Dad wanted me to play tonight. And then he proceeded to ball out of his fucking mind.
Threw, like, what, over 300 plus, 4 touchdowns, high completion percentage, no interceptions.
Just threw up balls that you're like, there's no
Oakland,
way.
Too, right? In Oakland, mystical little fog floating over the field, if I remember. You could just feel it. Like, there was something in the air.
It was there. And, like, that's the shit that I grew up on.
We had that happen. We had some weird shit my junior year, dude. Do you remember that? My junior year, we had a kid that was a senior the year before die of pneumonia.
Yep.
We played our biggest rival, Manuka, that night at home. There was a fucking thunderstorm. The game was started, like, first quarter. In some Super Bowl shit, the power went out at the fucking stadium.
I was there for that shit.
Yeah, we won. We remember we had a touchdown. We had one offensive touchdown because it was slug it out in the mud.
This wasn't glorious football, but it was
missed the extra point
football.
On a bad snap, and then we had a safety. But it was crazy. We won that game 8-0 against Manuka, and fucking the kid's name, the kid's number was 8. There's still an 8 on the back of my helmet in the garage. Like, yeah, for Sean Valentine, dude. That was fucking wild, dude.
The world is a fucking crazy place.
Right, just weird ways how shit lines up and shit happens, man.
Agreed.
So, favorite former not Packer?
It just got to be Joe Namath.
Joe guarantee?
Joe Namath was...
Really?
Yeah.
There was no other player when we were younger that was around.
What, non-Packer?
Chris Johnson?
No, well, okay, but I'm thinking So I have a Chris Johnson jersey in my closet, right? I loved Chris Johnson. But, like, if we're talking favorite, like, the more, like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna hop on DHgate, my favorite Chinese retailer, and I'm gonna get a fucking Joe Namath Jets jersey tonight. Because,
Go for it.
Because, honestly, this isn't the answer that I would have given you probably even 5 years ago. But, like, non-Packer, dude, like, Joe, like, everybody that watches the NFL just, I shouldn't say everybody, 90% of us fall in love with quarterbacks for the most obvious reasons.
Mm-hmm.
And Joe Namath was the quarterback. Like, that guy just went out there.
Fucking straight with
Shane,
the
shut the fuck up. Most of us
with the Dan Marino.
Fuck Dan Marino. He's the most overrated quarterback of all time. I said it.
You say Dan? No,
I
disagree
said it
completely.
and I meant it. He doesn't have a single. He doesn't have a single record that actually stands, and he won one Super Bowl. So that actually makes him worse than Aaron Rodgers, and it's not even a discussion. Fuck
that wasn't Dan Marino's Super Bowl.
What now?
Dan Marino?
Did he? Oh no, you're right. He never won a Super Bowl.
No,
right?
that wasn't that Brian Greasy in them?
Yeah.
With the undefeated team, that was not Dan Marino.
So
Einhorn is Finkel.
So Dan Marino's never even won a Super Bowl, right? Fuck him. No.
How is Danny? You mean, I'm assuming you mean Sammy? I'm looking at my keyboard. Yeah, Sammy. And you said Joe Namath?
Yeah. Because Joe Namath had swagger. And Dan Marino was a fucking pussy that grew up in Florida. Doc said it. Namath better than Marino.
Not even from Florida. A pussy that grew up in Florida. Like, I feel like you're having all this hate on Dan Marino, who is statistically fucking great.
Statistically great. How much did he win?
Okay, Aaron Rodgers has one Super Bowl then. Statistically,
that's
how
not my
much
point.
did he win?
How many times did Aaron Rodgers...
Aaron Rodgers should have an X Factor attribute called first round exit, where it guarantees him to lose to the Niners in the playoffs.
That's adorable.
That's happened multiple times.
What X Factor should any Bears quarterback have? Ever? Shuffle? Because one of them did that once, and your entire city lived on that for a solid 40 years? But we're not going there. We're moving on. I hate Dan Marino and his stupid fucking spray tan. He had a spray tan, we all know that.
That is true. Marino did set those records before the league was pass happy.
That's great. How many Super Bowls? Who cares? Also, Marino set those records, like, between when the league was anti-pass and when it was pass-happy.
So then is championships the only determining factor?
We've already talked about this on a podcast, so we're not going to bring it back. I think it was on this show, wasn't it?
Oh, no, it was not. That was for our league.
No, I remember specifically we talked about, was it? Oh, no. Didn't we talk about championships weight in a Hall of Fame argument? Didn't we talk about that?
In Hall of Fame argument, yes.
Fair.
I mean, the only reason that Brady has the fucking passing awards is because he's played till 43.
Agreed. So here's the thing. Let me allow us to dial this back.
Jesus fucking Darkness, I goddamn love you.
Darkness, I love you, but
you're gonna look this
You're
up.
confusing the shit out of me right now. So
Brady is better Marino, and I hate myself.
Let's bring this.
Shane is rational.
Let's bring this back. Let's bring this back, right?
Yeah, we gotta reel it back. Jesus.
Let's reel it back in this way. Shane, I am personally allowed to have Joe Namath be my favorite non-Packer and not Dan Marino for a fucking pantheon of reasons. It's not a personal...
pantheon of wrong reasons, but a pantheon of reasons.
Whose fucking side are you on? And also, like, what the hell? maybe me saying that Joe Namath is my favorite non-Packer isn't an attack on a random fucking Dolphins fan that's in the chat. Maybe I like Joe Namath for reasons that no one would ever like.
Because he guaranteed a Super Bowl and he was a cocky son of a bitch, the same reason I
but
like
he
him.
won the Super Bowl. So
he did do it. He did do it.
That's where I'm at. Like, it takes a whole, like, imagine the next Super Bowl happens and one of the quarterbacks.
I was like, Shep is a stooge. I'm too old for third and too young for three stooges, dog.
But no, seriously. Scott, picture one of the two Super Bowl quarterbacks in the next Super Bowl guaranteeing they're going to win with the same kind of fuck what you think about swagger that Namath had. Now imagine that guy wins it. Like, no, they all give respect to each other. They're all like, yeah, and they should, right? They should. But if Justin Herbert pilots the Chargers to a Super Bowl next year, and he just comes in with just this, man, fuck what that guy thinks energy, we're gonna win, I guarantee it, and then wins, that shit would be legendary. Right? Like, it just, they don't have that confidence anymore. Or maybe it's smarter confidence. Because it's not stupid to, give gravitas to your opponent. They also got here, right? But that's what I loved about Joe Namath. He was like, we're just going to go out and fucking win that game. Of course. And we're not getting dragged into whatever fucking Chad is dragging us into right now. This is the first time that Chad has tried to drag us into something that we're not going to engage. So, good for us.
Okay, so for favorite current Bear. If it weren't for a trade, it would be Khalil Mack. I loved Khalil.
The question was just player. It didn't have to be.
No, but we're doing one and one that's off. So like technically he's off now. Off the Bears' current roster is Justin Fields. I'm really hoping even with a less of a cat, like hopefully he takes. I think with a better offensive system, he's gonna do a little bit better. Some
Dark,
of the
it's not like that. I'm just theory crafting here.
But
yeah.
So I think he might take a step forward. It's not going to be a huge because I don't think he has the cast around him, but I think Luke Getsy is going to design a better offense than what Matt Nagy had. Matt Nagy, to me, had the same issue that I always said, and you've heard me say about Mike Martz when he was the offensive coordinator for the Bears with Jay Cutler. Mike Martz thought he was the smartest guy in the room.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't. His shit was dated. Nagy wasn't. He wasn't the play caller in Kansas City. He didn't. Yeah, exactly. Like the the things
Dark,
we've all heard.
Buried your ass.
Like who even? It would be Fields. It would be Fields. David Montgomery. Yeah, it's all newer guys. It's really all newer guys.
For now, you can say Roquan Smith. For now.
Yeah, I think they'll patch that situation.
Do you?
I think they will.
Have you heard his latest?
Mm-mm.
Today, he was in front of the press and said the whole process has been insulting.
Trade him for somebody will give a first. Somebody ship him. Fuck it at this point, because they're gonna. I've said this too a couple of days ago. They're gonna have a top 3 pick. They're gonna be that bad.
Well, especially if you trade Roquan.
All I hope is that Justin steps up more, and just like you can see that development
in the pocket
a little bit.
Or as a passer, or both. I'm sorry. All right, I'm done. Listen.
It's okay. You're gonna go from Hall of Fame quarterback to what here in a couple of years. So
we will. We're kicking that can as far down the road.
Yeah, you are. Yeah, you are. You and your DMT throw Rogan.
Throw Rogan, baby.
Throw Rogan, baby.
Throw Rogan 2022.
Outside of that, I would have to say I really like watching Jamar Chase, man. I do. And I know he's only been in the league for like what, 1 year? Yeah, 1 year now. That was his rookie year last year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's just fucking fun to watch. Yeah, him and Derwin just because he's so close to Sean when he's healthy. When he's healthy, Derrick Henry's fun to see, but I'll stick with Jamar Chase.
Yeah. I definitely think that if it's a Shane, that's a borderline concerning statement because Mark Shimura was literally convicted of like sex trafficking shit. Like he's the Packers like disgraceful tight end that we don't talk about anymore. So yeah, you know what? Props, I guess. If he hooked up with his daughter and it was totally consensual, and I assume that it was, and also I have no idea who she is at all. So that's being like I hooked up with a random stranger to me. Like other than, and again, Mark Shimura is kind of like a bastard in the Packers community these days. So no, that doesn't make you Packers faithful. What you need to do is hook up with Robert Tunyon's daughter 10 or 15 years from now because he's not that old. So, and like his daughter might be hot. That's fine. That doesn't like give you props in my book automatically. Like Mark Shimura shit to us. You need to hook up with a hot daughter of consensual legal age of somebody that's like current and that we love. Jordy Nelson. Does Jordy Nelson have a daughter? Brett Favre's daughter. Just took a. I randomly. Why the fuck do I know about this? It's because I searched Brett Favre because I was looking for the jersey that's gonna come tomorrow, his Jets jersey. But if you just Google search Brett Favre, the first thing that comes up is that his daughter is controversially transferring from Southern Miss to LSU for volleyball. Big deal. Big deal because Southern Miss is where he went.
Yeah.
And so she's transferring to LSU for volleyball. It's a problem. For the Favres, not for anybody else. But yeah, so in terms of current players, I mean, for me, the obvious answer, of course, is going to be Aaron Rodgers. He's just, like, crazy good. And rank current Packer players by how hot their daughters will be. Go.
Show me no titties.
Will be. That's such a will be? As in later? As in no. That's an awful question.
That's fucked
up. Hell no.
If somebody is a 10-year-old and an 8-year-old, don't rate how hot my kids will be. Those are my babies. Like, yeah, that's. I don't know. We're dragging a line on that one.
Yeah. So, in terms of. Yeah, I mean, it's Aaron Rodgers. Kind of has to be. I could have made an argument for Devontae, but, well.
But Devontae said, fuck your money. I want to play with my college teammate.
Yeah. He did.
Also, throw Rogan's weird, so.
And that's fair. Yeah, but I don't think that's what happened. I think he just, like, frankly, I think that he just said, hey, we gave it our best for a few years, and it didn't work. And now I've got a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to go hang out with my college quarterback, and we were great friends. So, honestly, like, I think that's the way he went.
I agree with Freight on that, 100%.
Rodgers is overrated how? Oh, wow, I said how, and you were like, I agree, and then you literally were like, what? Yeah, no.
What has he done with that team, though? Like,
it's a team
he's
sport.
had
how's he
consistent talent.
Exactly.
He's had good
Shane is at
defenses.
least admitting that he's just egging me on. He's just trying to piss me off. But, like, there isn't...
Yeah, but...
There's no argument.
The man has as many NFC title wins as Rex Grossman.
Okay. What you're saying is you honestly think that he is on the same talent level as Rex Grossman?
Oh God, no.
All right. Well,
But
then I don't
he's
need to
still
engage on that
had
point. What's your next
good.
one?
He's had good teams. Did you
Okay.
guys go 15-1 one time and have a first round exit?
I don't remember if that what. Well, they couldn't have had a first round exit because they had a first round bye. So no.
Okay, so you
So the
lost
answer
in
is
the
no.
divisional round. Okay.
Like Shane, the reason is that he, for the most of the time, was not surrounded by amazing coaches. I'm not turning this into an Aaron Rodgers defense podcast, but what I will say is that Mike McCarthy did win a Super Bowl in Green Bay. And then for the decade after that was complete dog shit. And like he was the reason that they didn't win more because he didn't change his game plan at all. Like the Packers offensive game plan stayed the same for the preceding decade when
Dark said he can and will do it again.
yeah, that's fair.
Oh, Hive's here with the empty stats, though. Okay. I'm gonna step away for a second.
Because why?
To be honest, I'm gonna do a dab. We're 2 hours in. Give me that courtesy.
That's fair. I thought you were leaving me out to dry. Also,
No, God, no. You can hear me from the hallway. Love you all. Bye. I'll be right back. Jade, I'll keep talking.
so here's the thing. I think realistically, everybody that knows anything about football knows that Aaron Rodgers is an extremely talented quarterback. I think that the conversation goes around, like, I think, firstly, the idea about winning Super Bowls got kind of fucked by Tom Brady. So if you don't win a gajillion Super Bowls, you're a terrible quarterback. When Tom Brady was a really good, if not great, quarterback who was also on some really good, if not great, teams that had really good, if not great, coaching. And that's a trifecta that doesn't happen all that often. And as a result, Tom Brady won a bunch of Super Bowls. I don't think that Aaron Rodgers has ever been on the same caliber of. I think he's always been a really good, if not great, quarterback. I don't think he's always had the really good, if not great, team and really good, if not great, coaching. And for the record, I don't think it's just Aaron Rodgers. I think there have been really good, if not great, quarterbacks that didn't have those trifectas. And as a result, all of them also didn't win a bunch of Super Bowls. So that's why I tend to think that of those really good, if not great, quarterbacks that didn't win a bunch of Super Bowls, Rodgers is definitely the best. You look at highlight plays, you look at just general statistics. I mean, I could pull up the stats. He has the best QBR. He has the highest touchdown to interception ratio of any quarterback ever. So it's not really a question of, is this guy good? It's really more of a question of, like, what needs to happen for a team to win a Super Bowl? And that's a complex question. And like I said, I think it requires great quarterbacking, great team, and a great coaching staff. And I don't think that has happened for Aaron Rodgers across the board. I don't think it's happened for a lot of the great quarterbacks across the board. So Manning's 1-2. Manning's only 1-2. And he's an insanely good quarterback. But he's only won 2 Super Bowls. Which kind of sounds stupid to say, because 2 Super Bowls is like a huge amount. Like it's 2 more than most quarterbacks will ever win. And it's 1 more, like, it's 2 more than almost any quarterback will ever win. It's 1 more than the vast majority of quarterbacks will win. And so, obviously, Manning's great, but, like, the point being, Manning is, like, historically great. But he only won 2 Super Bowls. So, that's where I go. I think there's a whole lot of argument and a whole lot of people talking a whole lot of shit about things that they literally have no idea about. And I think if you look at the stats and you look at the play on the field, you're an idiot if you don't think that Aaron Rodgers is one of the best quarterbacks of all time with his play. That does not mean that he's going to win a gajillion Super Bowls.
Yeah, but Dark's saying if you look at statistically, Eli Manning is an insanely good QB. No, so like Eli Manning, man, this is the defensive line user in me. Go back and look at those
Darkness,
Giants
you're just
teams.
wrong. Go look at like actual playoff numbers. Playoff. If I have to pull it up, I will on stream. Playoff QB ratings in the playoffs, just in the playoffs. I'll do it, and the numbers will actually surprise you, but it won't surprise you in that Rodgers is way better than most other quarterbacks.
The D line that Eli Manning had before this goes off into your fucking defense more
his defensive front was insane.
One of the best, and the reason that those teams beat Tom Brady was two things. Was they got Tom Brady off his spot with the pass rush. It's always been Tom Brady thing. If you can get him off his spot in the pocket, his numbers go down.
Yep.
And two, a little bit of goddamn luck.
Well, and also, like, Brady played, at that point in time, he had played behind historically great offensive lines. So he was not used at all to having his timing put off within the pocket.
It's so hard. How are you going to put Unitas, though? Like, Montana and Unitas. Like, those guys did not play in a fucking passing league. Like, I see what you're saying, Darkness. It's the opposite end of that. It's the opposite end. I haven't looked at his playoff numbers. I probably should. I just know the narrative and, like, what I've seen. But at the same time, Brady does have some exits. It's just he has more wins overall.
I hope to fuck that I saved this thread. Because I swear to God, I'm going to be pissed if I didn't.
Brady is a Patriot. I need someone better than him. 9-inch Nick? You're not talking about Nick Foles, are you? Listen, Nick Foles won a Super Bowl because people didn't understand RPOs that well yet. That and Philly special. Defense in Philly's been decent. Are you still looking up these fucking stats?
Yep.
Jesus fucking Christ. What was the next question?
Nope, we're not allowed to go there.
We're not allowed to go there, folks. Not until he determines. So. I just live here. I'm Filthy Hand 74.
Why is ad block not fucking working? I don't care about Metamucil.
Joel is fired up. He's glistening like Patrick Ewing in the fourth quarter, dude. That man is sweating right now. Like, I will be right.
Yeah.
Foot-long Foles is exactly what you're talking about. Big Dick Nick, dude. Come on. There's no way.
Foot-long Foles.
Foot-long Foles. Jesus Christ. He was one of those dudes where it was so up, down, up, down, up, down. I honestly forgot he was with the Colts. I still thought he was stashed somewhere way deep away on the Bears roster for no reason. Are you still looking up these fucking stats?
Oh, I've looked up the stats. What I'm doing is figuring out a way to add it to my stream. Add a news source instead. Yes.
Remember when J-Dog said he wasn't going to engage? Yep, and you just baited him right the fuck on into it.
We did. We baited me into this. So this is the top, lot of fucking people in QBR in the playoffs. This is in the playoffs, by the way. Playoff passing rating leaders. Let's see. Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Bart
I'll let him
Starr,
do his thing, Hive, and then I'll answer
Kurt
that question
Warner,
for you.
Matt Ryan, Aaron Rodgers. So, hold on. Tom Brady's all the way down at 17. That's crazy. That's insane to me. He's won so many Super Bowls, but he's at 17th in QBR. Right. So here's my thing. If we're talking about
yeah, but how many seasons is that fucking sustained over?
All of his postseason career, which is what everyone wants to meme about.
So Josh Allen's number one on that list with how many games?
I don't care. Then take him off of it. That just makes Aaron Rodgers even better.
It makes Tom Brady better, too.
Tom literally doesn't.
How much longer than Rodgers?
Right, and he's still so much worse. That's my entire point. He has more playoff games and has done insanely worse, but not a whole lot more. So granted, what you're saying is Aaron Rodgers has a smaller sample size than Tom Brady.
Yeah.
He does. That's true. But his sample size is literally what people actually meme him on. And in that sample size, he's the 6th best quarterback of all time. So what I'm saying is, people always talk about, oh, it's the playoffs, and he doesn't ever win in the playoffs. But he can't be doing a whole lot more in those games. Because in his sample size, he's 6th all fucking time. So what I'm saying is it's a fucking team sport. That there are things that even the most important position in the game can't always affect the outcome of. That's what I'm saying. Hi, if Brady's at 17th, that doesn't mean it's not that good of a stat. That just means that Brady played on better teams around him. QBR is an individual performance stat. It's not a winning stat. No, that's right. That's 100% correct. You can have a quarterback that literally plays like dog shit and still win. It's just not that likely. Shane, I'm not all over the place. I'm saying that Aaron Rodgers is a great quarterback. I've been consistent on that. I do think that the quarterback is the most important position, but I don't think it's the only one.
So is what you're saying is that the reason that Aaron Rodgers hasn't won more is because he hasn't had the teams around him that Tom Brady has.
I said earlier that I think there's the trifecta of a good to great quarterback, a good to great team, and a good to great coaching staff. And I think that Tom Brady had those three things more often than Aaron Rodgers did. Darkness is hitting the nail on the head. 4 games in the playoffs with 3 interceptions, and he's 3-1 in those games. That does not mean that Tom Brady's a good quarterback. He threw 3 fucking interceptions in a playoff game. That should lose you the game. In the playoffs, he played with great teams. I bet you the one that he lost in was the game against the Titans. You know what? And he might not have even lost. He might not have even thrown 3 interceptions. I remember the interception that he threw that was fucking awful that lost them the game. that I've never seen Aaron Rodgers throw that kind of interception. Darkness is 100% on the money here. Rodgers has never had the kind of postseason collapse with the direct pick. You just literally lost your team the game that Brady had in his last season as a Patriot. I watched that game against the Titans. Did you? Filthy. Did you watch that game?
Probably not. I was probably working.
That was the game. That was the season when Derrick Henry just tore everyone up in the playoffs, including the Patriots. But the Patriots had the ball, and they were, like, trying to come from behind.
Was that the same game with the timeouts and shit, where fucking Vrabel fucked with Bill? The same way Bill Belichick's fucked with people, where you can false start on a punt and it runs more time off and shit. Yeah, and then Brady throws that fucking pick six to fucking end it.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. I didn't watch it live, but I think I watched the second half. I didn't see the whole game, but I watched, like, the end of it. Like, I remember being present and in front of a screen, like, okay, what's going to happen
The end of that game is hard for me to forget if you're trying to tell me that Brady is just that much better than everybody else.
I'm about to Hive. I'm right there with you, dude.
Oh, Hive.
If I can't get a fucking touch pass to register as a touch pass, I'm
Hive,
gonna lose my
straight
mind.
up, if I can get my number down to 3 a game, I'll be thrilled.
I'm probably no. So like, it depends. It depends. I've had some games that have been really, really solid in the labs, like with the guys that I've been playing. But then I've had some other games, like me and Shane had a game. I think we both threw like at the touching 20, like between the two of us, like fucking stupid
and
amounts.
at that point,
and
you're
like,
just having fun, right?
Yeah, no, exactly. Well, you're labbing,
right.
You're figuring shit out, you're calling random shit, and you're talking about what you're running. Like, okay, well, did that work? Or, oh, this is working. Oh, this is working.
Shane, and I know this is the first time you're ever gonna hear this in your life, but it's because you're not quick enough. That's why you can't get a lob.
Bro, Shane, I talked about because I can get them. That's how I'm hitting my fades sometimes. It's the lobs. At least with the longer ones. I explained to J-Dog tonight, you have to hit this button like this. Yeah.
Like you're scared of having touched it. You're like,
Exactly. Like, yeah. Like, imagine, like, let's say Square, right, is going deep, and he beats his man off the press, and you're like, oh! But there's that safety creeping over the top, and you gotta angle it outside just a little bit, right? Hit your L2 up and go, yeah, and then, like, run away from your fucking controller.
Just
for
run
a
away.
second, look back and user catch it, obviously, derp. But, like, that's how you get a lot. You have to, like, hit that shit and just let go. Like, pip, pip. Like, and then the touch is somewhere in between that and bullet. That's the touch pass has been the hardest one for me to find. And so many routes I like to throw are open off of a touch pass.
Shane, I'm going to be straight with you. If every touch pass is a bullet for you...
You're holding it way too long.
But also... I can level with that
like,
a little
bullets, like, perfect. I can't do touch. I can't figure the fuck out. Like, it's insane.
Darts leagues and all, man. You set the record 250.
It's going to be a cornerback. I could agree with that, Hive.
Yeah. Jesus, you're both right. And I hate it.
250 receptions. That's fucking insane.
That's
cancer.
How many? No. Like at most you could set. Like if you threw 10 a game, it'd be 100.
Oh no, I see motherfuckers throwing 40.
No, but I'm saying if he threw 10 a game, it'd be 180. There's no way he's hitting 250
in a couple of seasons.
There's no way.
I could see it.
Oh, never mind. If he's talking all time, then yeah. But here's the thing, though. Here's the thing, Shane. Like, I don't think you're gonna set that record. You might there'll be somebody worse than you. I'm not saying you won't throw a lot of interceptions. I throw a literal train's worth of interceptions. No pun intended. On all Madden, it's atrocious.
I threw some touch passes in 22 Hive on certain things.
I did try. We all tried, I think. It was
There were
like,
certain things I
yeah,
did. There was a lot more bullets.
it was rare
There
though.
were
It was rare.
certain things I
Like the
used it
vast
on.
majority of your throws were either bullet or lob. There were some touch passes. I will say, I think once we've all figured it out, we're gonna be more appreciative of the touch pass in this Madden than we've been before. That's what I think.
So, what was the next question? What was our next question?
I was trying to get to that. I never understand how we get to this 2.5 hour mark, and here we are. All right. Next question from Jason Move was favorite or funniest or favorite story with one another.
There's a lot.
There's so much.
There's so much.
I feel like we got to go through like a few of them. So the time that you jumped off of your roof and thought that locking your knees upon the landing was a good idea.
Oh, that was not a good idea. Yeah, that was just like fucking. My mom was gone. Nobody was home. Summer school were off, and like, yeah, we had a camcorder, and I don't know whatever the fuck happened to that video.
Oh, it was because it was right after Jackass came out, so we were all doing stupid shit.
Yeah, we were all watching Jackass, dude, and like fucking doing that shit. So I got up on my roof, and I was like, "My name's Scott, and I'm a fucking idiot." And I decided to jump off this fucking roof, but it wasn't like tuck your knees or like tuck and roll or nothing. No, it was. And fucking, yeah, I messed my knee up over that shit. It was super bad. Didn't go to the hospital. Like, I messed it up, but I limped it off. My mom was like, what happened? I was like, I was playing football with my friends. Like, total lie. That bastard told that story at my wedding. Piece of shit. Narked me out. So, when we were younger, his sister used to watch me. And, there's a fucking little, like, tiny half wall in front of my room and hanging a TV on it. Now I know with stud finders, there is really no studs there. So this motherfucker, I'm in my room looking for something, and his sister was like, I have to leave for like half a minute. You'll be fine. Don't break anything.
Her literal words, she's babysitting us, her literal words were, don't break anything. And if she hadn't said that, I think we'd have been fine. But because she said
she
that...
jinxed it. She jinxed it.
She did.
This motherfucker leans on the goddamn wall and is just sitting there, and then you just hear, and like he goes back into the shit, like the drywall in the house, like in that area is like flimsy.
I'm just leaning on a fucking wall while he's looking for shit in his room, and all of a sudden I just hear, and I'm like, that shouldn't happen on a wall.
So I look up and I'm like, oh fuck, and he's like, oh shit, and we go downstairs right as his sister gets home, and this motherfucker grabs my bike and takes the fuck off and rides the fuck home because he's scared of his sister. I gotta run, and she yells something, and I stop, and yeah, no, nobody got in trouble. It was an honest accident, but like all I can remember is this motherfucker grabbing my bike and being like,
I fucking hopped on your BMX and just rode away.
Dip.
I'm such a piece of shit.
He dipped on me in that. Fuck. Outside of that, man, there's too many to like. Fucking all the NCAA like franchises we built, Madden franchises we built, or MLB franchises we built, just hanging out at my house, passing the controller back and forth, offense, defense, batting, pitching, like, yeah, shit. Just there's too much wild shit to even mention.
There's too much wild shit in terms of favorite shit though. Like it's too easy, right? It's like we just fucking like grew up together. Like it was
basically
just as simple as that. Like as soon as we could, well, as soon as we like knew each other, we could ride bikes, and so it was just like biking over to each other's houses and literally just spending entire summers together. Shit, one of my favorite memories is, so I was homeschooled, and he was going to school, and like he had timed out how he could get suspended in tactical ways. So I remember that we were playing it was Diablo 2. We were both really into. And he fucking knew that like, you know, my parents went away. Like, I was, like, I could do my schoolwork in, like, an hour and a half, 2 hours tops. And so he'd just fucking call me after he'd gotten suspended. Like, he knew how to work the system, how to get a suspension for just enough time to play some fucking video games.
They stopped suspending me my sophomore year, dude. And they're like,
figured it out.
How come before every 3-day weekend, Christmas break, spring break, this, that, the other? And I'm like, I don't notice a pattern. And then, yeah, no, they stopped doing that shit. It was bogus.
Yeah. Some bullshit. But no, he'd just call me up and he'd be like, hey, man, I'm about to get suspended. What are you looking like today? And I'd be like, man, as soon as you get home, I'll be done with school. We got this. And we'd hop on some fucking Diablo 2 or some fucking Arma or War Rock. That we played the shit out of that game, too. RIP those servers. They have to be gone.
Oh, God, yeah. Hell yeah.
It's good times. Good times. But we've literally been each other's best friends for longer than we haven't in our lives at this point. So that's honestly, even that mile mark is comfortably in the rearview mirror. So It's been a good ride. And like we said in the beginning, there's a reason that we enjoy doing this with each other so much. And it's as much because of being able to just bullshit with each other as it is about the content that we're bullshitting about. So, let's see.
Yo, I got one more.
Okay.
You remember over at your house, we were all horsing around. It's like me, you, and your sister, and you locked yourself in your sister's fucking bedroom. And she was like, Scott, if you don't get him to open the door because you're his friend, he'll listen to you, you're gonna be in trouble. And I believed her, which was bullshit. I shouldn't have.
Right.
So, but
she's
she was older, and I was
bitch.
like, fuck. Yeah. Love her to death.
Love
like,
my sister. In that moment, she was a lying bitch.
Oh yeah, dude, we weren't gonna be in trouble for what we were doing. So we fucking walk back, right, dude, and go to the door, and I'm like, Joel, open up. It's just me. And he's like, no, I can hear her out there breathing. And I'm like, dude, off the top was like, nah, bro, that's just me. I breathe funny.
Literally, I'm over there and I can hear two people breathing outside the door. And he's like, open the door, it's just me. And I was like, that's not true. I can hear two of you. I can hear her breathing too. And he was like, no, that's just me. I breathe funny. I was like, no fucking shot. That was a good fucking time. That's good shit. Alright, favorite Madden ever? There's one answer. Well, there's two. There might be three. There's two answers.
And Madden Online.
Just favorite Madden ever.
Madden ever?
Mm-hmm. Oh, there might be more than three. I have a distinct number one, though.
I think I do too, but I think, can we do a top three for this?
Shane, shut the fuck up. Yes, you can do a top three.
M23. M23, I will say, I love everything they've done so far. I really do like the state the game's in. It's better than it has been in past years. And I know some people are going to be like, nah, it sucks this, it sucks that. But, like, dude, defense was so nuked the past couple of years, it was unplayable. And, like, I feel like it's in a decent
so here's the thing. So
spot.
it's better than it's been in years, but that takes us too far away from the point. Right? Like, it's better than it's been, but it's not better than it was. Madden 04 is... Okay, top three for you, Scott.
Top three for me would be probably Madden 06. Madden 06 or Madden 07. That was my first Madden. That was the first one that I played. That was the one that really got me sparked. It was that in NCAA 06,
Yep.
which I did spend probably more time on NCAA at the time. But I'm going to throw that Madden at number one. I enjoyed... I think that was Madden 19. that I got, yeah, because it was 2018. Yep, that I got my first Super Bowl win in Madden. So I had a ton of them in NCAA, like, as you know. So that was when, like, because I had lost a couple, remember, early on,
Yep.
and, like,
Yep.
was, like, 0-2, and was like, okay, and then finally got one, and that was, like,
Darkness
and then
says
my
John Madden is his favorite Madden.
John Madden's
I
favorite.
mean, Joel Madden is a person.
Um, And then I'll put it by three, honestly, without the presser. I'll put M23 so far.
You sweet summer child. The correct answers are in any um Melissa Stark cameos. In any order, Madden Madden 08
Oh, it was good.
was phenomenal. Madden 2004 was awesome. 2005 was the first one that added a ton of franchise features that were like revolutionary at the time. I mean, they're still revolutionary because they haven't fucking changed because the game is fucking dog shit. And I think Madden 12 was literally the last Madden to like innovate anything on the franchise front. I mean, drafting hadn't changed since last year. Prior to last year, drafting hadn't changed in a decade. Drafting hasn't entirely changed now. There's still draft stories and shit. They matter less, which is nice. And I'm in favor of the way that drafting has changed. But, like, just generally speaking, I don't think, and it's as much probably like rose-colored glasses as anything else. Like me thinking the old Maddens were better, but like they literally were in terms of their content. The gameplay, sure, that's better now because we have like enhanced engines and shit. Although they took those great engines and then made a bunch of bullshit animations. So I don't even know. Um, in terms of like what I played in terms of next gen Maddens, sure Madden 23 is my current favorite, but like that's such a low fucking bar that that's where I'm at. And I haven't played enough of it. Like maybe it'll be my favorite of all time, but I don't think actually I know that it won't be. Because like in the early Maddens in like 2005, 2008, like you made like franchise altering decisions when you set prices on things. And now it's like even if you're an owner in connected franchise mode, it doesn't really matter. It just doesn't. Right? And you set prices, who cares? Who gives a shit? Like it just doesn't matter. So there's no impact anymore. Shane, but that's the thing. I don't. Here's why I don't think that that's not fair. Old Madden had to have more content to keep us entertained. That's true. They literally took that content out and replaced it with just online when it would have costed them nothing to keep that content in and also introduce online play. Right? Like they've removed features that were great for literally no reason. They didn't have to remove features to add what they added. So, in a vacuum, I do agree that comparing pre-online play versus like post-online play isn't fair. But given the context that we have, no. Madden has taken away things that they had no reason to do.
Story, actually, that I just thought up that would combine this question and an older question.
Yep.
So, the favorite Madden with the favorite story, right? You remember the first Madden where they had draft classes? We were following this quarterback, and we took a rebuild team that needed to draft a quarterback, and we were gonna trade it way up to get the
Jesus.
fucking quarterback, and we were like, "Yeah, he's the one. Sold." Right? So then we're in the draft. We didn't check like the last 2 weeks anything or whatever, 2, 3 weeks anything. We're in the draft and like, why isn't he here? We go back, check the stories. He goes back to Michigan State.
So
We can't wholesale a whole nother fucking draft.
We wholesaled the draft to trade up to the first overall pick because we have the surefire quarterback, and his ass went back to college. And we lost our minds over that shit. But at the same time, that's an iconic moment in our gameplay, right? Like, we will remember that. I'm gonna, when I'm fucking 90, I'm gonna forget my grandkids' names. But I'm gonna goddamn remember that son of a bitch quarterback that bailed on being the #1 draft pick to go back to MSU. Like, I'm gonna remember that shit. And again, that's when they had first introduced that shit. It was fresh, and then they just didn't change it for 10 years, and that's why I don't think the same in the game now as I did then. All right, craziest rule change idea. I have a really good one for this.
Oh, I've got one. I've got one too. Okay, craziest rule change idea. You ready for this, guys? I played in a league, and it was one of the few leagues I was in that was a lot like this with content, and you actually got boosts up on things for your content. One of the things they had was a ratio for halfback usage, and not for in the passing game or in like the running game, like you know what I mean, like you can't run it all the time or you can't do nothing but throw to your halfback, but it was like I think an 80-20 or something. They had based it off of Pro Football
Yeah, it was
Focus.
either
They had an
80-20 or
explanation
70-30.
for it. Yeah, it was something like that.
Yeah.
But your backup halfback had to have snaps and carries.
Yep. I remember that.
And I thought it made it super interesting though and super fun because you wanted to have a good second. It makes someone like the Browns like super sexy.
Yeah,
you
Rice,
know what
we're
I
still
mean?
alive. We're crazy like that. He's like,
Oh yeah, you're still alive. We love you, Rice. What up, cuz?
Hey.
We're talking about dual halfback systems now.
Oh shit! I have to go to bed. Just look at the time. Rice, thank you for that. No, we're good. Like I'm gonna finish the stream, but I should go to bed soon. But
yeah, we'll wrap it up.
No, but like, so you're saying Broncos? Like it does incentivize a
Browns.
good Browns. You said? I thought you said Broncos. Either way.
Yeah, with Kareem Hunt, you trade him off. But yeah, that was one of their things is it was like a 70-30 like run split ratio. Like your other halfback had to do something.
Yeah. He had to show up. Like Dude, I do remember that. I'm going to be honest with you. I think about that in games where I'm like, in the back of my head, it's just like, oh, but has your backup carried? And I'm like, no, it doesn't matter in this league because it hasn't mattered since then. And it would, if we played 15-minute quarters with regular fatigue on, then yeah, it makes sense. But no one's going to sign up for that league. And that's where I think that I'm not, like, that's one that I'm not wishing we're back. It would be a crazy rule change. Dark's pointing out that he's in a league that has that over the season. But to me at least, I don't care if it's, like, I'm absolutely in favor of, like, run versus pass splits. I don't think it needs to go so far, given the way that the game runs, as making sure that your backups are there. But what I will say, and again, I want to say the question was specifically crazy rule change idea. So I've got a crazy rule change idea. I think that there's two variations. One is that I think the better variation of this is that you have your current fourth down rules when you're allowed to go for it on fourth, right? I think that every user should have the ability to break those rules and go for it on fourth down in any setting outside of those rules. With one condition. If they do that, they have to go for it on fourth every single time it's fourth down for the remainder of the season.
I think that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Yep, it's a crazy rule. It's a roll of the fucking dice. Think about it. You're in like week 15, and it's 4th and 1, and you're on your own 30-yard line. And it's in the third quarter in a close game. And you're thinking to yourself, dude, I could fucking get this. I could. I know that I could. But the rules don't let me. What if I want this one get-out-of-jail-free card?
I think that's too over the top, though.
I agree. It's stupid, and it would never be a
Buster would love that.
Nice. Listen, the question was crazy idea. It's a crazy idea. But it's like, yeah. Freight is collapsing in his chair listening to that. I love it. Listen, I didn't say it was a good idea. I said it was a crazy one. It's like,
Jesus.
Have y'all played Hearts before? The card game? When you break hearts, everybody can do it? Like, that's the idea, right? All right, you go for fourth. You can do it this one time, but now you always have to go for it. I'm about to turn off the stream.
Fucking
Just-
dumb. That's
just-
why I was like, what
just
the fuck,
about.
bro?
It's not a good rule change. It's not one that I would advocate for at any point. But it's crazy. You gotta give me that.
It's crazy. I'll give you that. I think mine's more viable.
Right, but it's not crazy. The question was craziest rule change idea. So what's your...
If it gets 15 votes before 2 a.m. EST, I'll make it over.
All right.
Nope, not gonna say it.
The
Moving on.
trolls.
If one guy could
Let's
vote
do
15 times, if two guys could vote 15 times,
Yep. Yep. All right, so crazies. Because your rule change wasn't crazy at all. It's craziest rule change. I gave you mine.
craziest.
Craziest, yeah. Just go for it.
Okay.
See, I read the assignment.
No, time out. The craziest rule change? Trade rules are thrown out the window. Completely. Not like, okay, let me rephrase that. Like the age, the restriction, the this,
So
the
the
that,
rules.
anything.
There's still a committee, but there's no
Yeah.
rules.
Yes, it's on a case by case basis completely with you can have arguments and like not arguments like back and forth for 8 years.
My
to
brother in
deliberate
Christ,
this fucking
you
trade.
are literally speaking my language way harder than I think you meant to, and you're getting me a little excited. Let's fucking go.
I think it needs to be a case. I think that should be a case by case because you look at like cases
Filthy for
like
president.
Jalen Ramsey. You look at cases like Jalen Ramsey to me that's the first one that strikes out, and they gave up a boatload. Like if you're giving up a boatload, like,
Yes.
okay, time out. Like let's say I'm a team that doesn't have the greatest pieces, right? And I want to go out and like, okay, we're allowing 6-way trades this year. Like I want to give you a first, a second in the first year, and a third or a fourth in the next year for like a Myles Garrett. Like
Yeah.
if you have established members that are around for a while, which I think we have for the most part with our core here, I think you should open up trading a little bit, personally. Now, I already know I do have to go look and read. Love you, Rice. I know you're still here. I hope you're still here. I think you logged, but I do have to go and read. I know they opened it up a little bit. I'd personally open it up more. The way I would open it up more is more for debate. Like, not for debate, like, drag it out. Like, bro, once y'all say no, it's no. But, like, if in trades there was you provided a reasoning. This is a cap dump. That happens all the time.
Yep.
This player won't resign because I suck.
Right.
I don't say you suck, but throw that in there.
Right.
Like,
well, just feel like, hey, the guy already told me he won't resign with me. So if I can get some value out of it, I would be stupid not to.
Oh, Rice said he's lurking.
He's lurking. He's always around. Come on.
No, but like at the same time, like I do get why there needs to be a committee. I do get from running leagues. I do get why you don't allow guys to do whatever the fuck you want, especially new guys.
The committee,
because they
all
will
understand, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, no. Who is that dude? Even in our committee, I remember I denied one of his trades one time, and he's like reasoning. I was like, reasoning, bro, is I've dealt with you, and I want to see you stick here for a little bit before you wholesale a team, and then I have to sell them to somebody else. That I agree with. So, like, should every trade be made? Fuck no. But if you can match a value, like, there's value charts, guys. There's shit that's not hard to find. Operation Sports is great. Like, you can find value charts and determine realistically what somebody is worth. What a 99 X Factor is fucking worth. It's multiple top 10 first round picks.
Yeah.
Like, you have to match that in a way or offer a player up in value in that way.
The point being, there is an offer that can satisfy that. That's what I like about the chart. Right? Darkness is just trolling if you're reading that right now.
I am.
But my point about the charts is, like, there is a value. The charts, don't exclude anything.
I've got my little chart.
The point is, like, there is value that you can get for something that makes it worthwhile.
Because I want you to know, this is how I do trades, guys. Like, okay, yeah. So 21, let's say at the age cap age, right? 24, right?
Mm-hmm.
24, 99 X Factors, multiple first round picks. It's all the way up to, it's multiple first round picks up until they're about a 90 at their D season. Like, oh wait, no, that's just their overall. Once they have that X Factor, that multiple first round picks at the over 95 is dragged all the way out to 28.
Shane says he hates charts, calculators, and trade committees. Shane, I agree with you on the first two. I think I disagree with you on the last one.
Trade committees I'll deal with, man, because there's some shit that never happens that you'll get a dipshit to agree to. Trade rape is real.
Shane, what I agree with you so wholeheartedly is that you hate not being able to trade certain players. 100%, I agree.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing that I hate. I hate, there's this single player that you aren't allowed to trade ever under any circumstances. I think those rules are stupid. I think that trade committees need to exist to evaluate whether a trade is a good idea or not, because there are players that should be almost untouchable. Right? Check my server in the general.
I would say almost untouchable. Almost.
Some of the players that will be tradable year one, not including Lamar or guys that make guaranteed contracts. All right, so there is not a good way for me to broadcast this, but it's a lot of players.
Oh, Rice hitting us with the new information for the people who stuck this long. Guys, this list is...
But I can't... Rice, you got to put this in the TSR chat. Because I can't... The thing is, I could stream it, but I can't, like, for whatever reason.
I'm seeing
well,
some
actually,
names on here that I could not trade last year, ladies and gentlemen, that make.
All right, so maybe I can share this on the stream.
Wow.
I think that I can.
Here's a way to explain it to people. Kyler Murray is tradable. Here will be some of the players that will be tradable year one, not including Lamar, guys with mega guaranteed. Kenny Clark, Rodney Hudson, Minka Fitzpatrick, Dak Prescott, Kendall Fuller, Eric Kendricks, Michael Pierce. No, this is opened up. Okay. I didn't understand. I'm gonna have to sit down, man, and just like reread everything, like the new stuff. I give it a quick glance, but I've been really busy today dealing with just personal stuff upon, life and just ugh. It's been a shit day up until recording this podcast. Honestly, it's been great recording this.
Yeah. All right, so what I will say is, I tried to put it up there, like, my Discord's not agreeing with me, and also it's fucking late. So, there will be better opportunity to trade players, it looks like, once we look at this list. But I think that, and Shane, I'm with you. I think that the committee should exist to make sure trades aren't
he got
traded.
the mega contract. That makes sense, though.
Yeah. So,
Sorry.
but Shane, I'm with you. I think I personally, and I've said this before, I think the goal of committees should be to make sure that, like, ridiculously stupid trades don't happen. But and you, Filthy, you know this. Like, I have a laissez-faire approach to trades. Like,
Oh, me too, bro.
Just
we both do.
Let it happen, and if it's gonna be absolutely ridiculous, then yes, shut it down. But otherwise, assume that you have, especially if it's a community full of users that you trust, assume that they have logical pursuits in mind. That's where I stand. And it does get harder when you're playing on, like, a random server or, like, you have a bunch of people, users that you don't trust. But I don't necessarily think that that's the case here. And again, none of, like, I love this
like I
fucking
said, I'm
league and
seeing
gonna
some
play it no
names
matter
on
what.
this list.
But
like, even with those guys subtracted, that I'm like, well, I wouldn't be able to do this before under previous rules. Like Jeffrey Simmons for the Titans, 25, 88 overall, superstar to X Factor.
Right.
Like that's
And
a big name.
That's nice. Again, though,
Yeah.
that my point is,
Kendall Fuller, another one of those. Like
Again,
there's names on here where it's like you can flip this.
I get all of that.
Trayvon Diggs for the Cowboys.
You can keep on naming names on a list, and it doesn't matter to me. I don't think there should be a list. I just think there shouldn't be a rule on trades, and I think there should be a committee that has a good head on their shoulders that's like, this person's obviously getting robbed or has no idea what they're doing. And outside of that, and yeah, Shane.
Write that date down, gentlemen.
Shane.
August 23rd,
Shane, is this the hill we're going to die on together?
Agreed.
I think Shane and I just found a hill to die on.
But I'll die on it with you boys. Fuck it. There's strength in numbers on that one. But, I mean, hey, at the end of the day, though, with this admin team and what the commissioner decides for TSR on their trade rules is their trade rules.
Yes.
And honestly, I do like the fact that they have opened it up a little bit, way more than it was last year for trades.
Yeah.
And I think there can be room for discussion. And I do think these guys are willing to listen. You know, I made a trade last year that, like, it was a very lateral move, you know what I mean? Like, we both matched it up very well, me and Jay Smooth, but I was gonna cut the guy. And he's like, listen, dude, I'll trade you for him. Fuck it. Like, me and him were just talking about it. He's like, I'll trade you for him. What can we do? And that's how I got Ezra Cleveland and, like, a role player. Actually, the role player did okay for me. Like, he was my dime corner for that last year in Tampa. So, like, we worked something out, but it was still at the same time, like, the understanding was, like, this is a cap move. So, like, I think That would be the thing I would add the most, like not even on a crazy thing, but just for me is like give an explanation for your trade. Like
Yeah.
why?
Well, I agree. I think like making an I completely agree that like there should be a requirement that you explain your trade, even if it's just in a couple sentences. I think that would also require every trade decision to have an equal response. Like this is why we declined the trade. Um and again, and Rice, I love you to death. I it would depend heavily on the context around the trade, but I wouldn't just rule out Mahomes for JT just because those two names were involved. There might have to be some other things going on, but like if I'm Patrick, if I have the Chiefs and I had to draft them, but I hate passing the ball and I love running the ball, and if I'm a pass heavy Colts user, that's like holy shit, Mahomes would just upgrade me, and I could do away with Jonathan Taylor. I could conceive of a world where that would be realistic. I'm not saying that that should be the default baseline, and I'm not saying that like I would ever think that like just off of the like a direct swap. No, I wouldn't agree with that. I'm just saying I would want to know the context behind it, and I would never rule it out just because of those names. Um,
Oh,
yeah, there's a second
I
picture
was
there.
I was reading wrong. I'm just saying, there's somebody I'm gonna be giving a call to,
Okay.
and it's gonna take a
Well,
lot.
and what I will say is
That might help change my draft strategy.
I'm really glad that that's a thing. I really am. I mean like I will never give up that I think that it should be free trade, limited free trade. Obviously, we don't allow people to hit the suicide option, but also what I'll say is I am not complaining about this league. I love this league, and whatever trade rules they want to fucking have, like I'm gonna roll with it because even if I don't personally agree with them, I don't think they're unfair, and that's the biggest thing for me. Like it should be fair no matter what. So I can personally not agree with them, and that's okay because I know that they are being absolutely like fairly applied across the board, and that's kind of the biggest thing for me because I love being in the league. I love the people that are in this league. I love making content for the league. So yeah, um, we will you will be looking at those lists with great interest. That's for sure.
Yeah, no, like that's yeah. There's some players on that list, man. Whereas
There's
like you could not have moved those guys before.
there's some dogs there. All right, well, here we are. It's been a solid 3 hours for us. Somehow we did it again.
Oops, I did it again. It's old
Um,
ass.
but hey, you know what? For what it's worth, people actually stuck with us in the live stream this time.
Right.
So
We got 6 people fucking chilling right here
we
right
do,
now,
we
man.
do, and I love it.
Like you're muted on my other screen so I can see chat, so I don't
Yeah,
count.
yeah. Well, you actually do though. For what it's worth, they changed that.
Oh, do I?
Yep.
Did they change it?
Yep.
Okay, that's cool.
They changed it
Yes,
so
there's
even if
5.
you're muted, yeah. But yeah, no, like this was a great time, and I love the questions we got. I love the interaction that we got in the chat. Frankly, I'm fairly well convinced that we really should, especially once we get to the regular, we're streaming it up and talking about divisions and records and shit like that. I'm fairly convinced that we should probably just live stream this every time. And Shane's already off on his fucking...
Oh, Shane's up. Well, Joel, you're going to sleep, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So you're not lapping the game? Be honest. Be honest.
Do you want to?
I mean, I'm down, but also I want Shane to pop into this fucking Discord afterwards so I can hear what this new content idea is because I'm intrigued and I like doing stuff and making stuff.
So what would be best for me is if I didn't have to play a whole game, but instead we finish the podcast, he jumps in here, and we talk about that for a little bit.
I'm already playing. Who are you already playing?
Doesn't matter. We're wrapping up a podcast right now. Focus. Focus, Fox.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. That's all we have. I'm pretty sure. And Shane might have some content idea that he has for us.
It sounds like we got something coming out. I'm excited.
Hey,
to
that earlier
see
question about
is.
what we got planning, it just started right now. So, all right. Do you have any closing thoughts for us right now?
Closing thoughts, dude. We draw closer. The tournament's been going well. Make sure to schedule your games. Make them quit and come play me, dude. Come on, let's go lab. Let's get down to business. And I want to talk about this content. I'm super interested about it. But okay, closing thoughts, bro. TSR, I love you guys. I'm happy with everybody that tuned in. You guys made this live podcast fucking great, dude. That's not what I expected this to be. I expected this to be an hour and a half, and here we are at 3 hours, dude. That was not what I was planning for, but I fucking love it. Big things coming, dude. I'm excited for the season to start. Team draft is Saturday. I'm actually going to be at work, and I'm going to be monitoring, though, and I even told my other peers, I was like, I'm going to have to step outside for a minute. Like when this thing starts, it's not going to be long.
What time?
I expect it to go quick. You can go ahead and check it in announcements. I'll keep talking, but I'm excited to get started. I'm excited to run a season with y'all. I'm excited to keep doing this podcast and see where it grows. I'm excited for the other content that I believe is going to pop up. Noobs, has been doing his thing. Buster, I think I'd be excited to see if Buster did more stuff. I want to get Buster on this show. We talk about Buster enough, man. He's in college now. You're old enough, kid. We got to be able to link up and get your ass on here.
Yep.
But I do think we've got 2 slots to fill, if I'm right. I think people in here know people, and we know good, reliable users, and we know people who would be fits. Bring them in. Let's get this filled up. We're drafting Team Saturday. I think once we draft Team Saturday, there's a lot more clarity. Everybody knows who we are. I can't wait for that podcast. I can't wait for the one after the team draft.
That podcast is going to be fucking lit.
That's going to be lit, bro.
We're going to be lit.
We're going to be lit. We're going to be lit. It's going to be lit. It's going to be fucking amazing. But, anything you'd like to add before we close her down, buddy?
Not a whole lot. Just echoing the same comments. Like, I love doing this, and it's crazy to me. It's a little crazy to me that, like, we can go 3 hours and not blink an eye. Like, this is...
Oh, it looks like Rice is saying we might only have one.
Okay. Awesome.
But 31 and 32 is back, so we'll see.
Yeah. Well, either way, the league is like mostly full, has a great core, and like we are really excited and looking forward to great things going into the next cycle. And like I'm super grateful to be able to have this platform to do what we do with it. I'm honestly so grateful that we got like some official recognition. We got some respect on our name by the league for Rice joining us and announcing that he was going to be the acting commissioner going forward. That was that was an awesome podcast for us, and like just a great time going forward. And I know that the season that we have, the cycle that we have to come, is going to be great. Like you said, I can't wait for the team draft. I just can't wait until we get to talk about who's got what team. I'm ignoring the chat right now because they're all just being fucking trolls, and I'm trying to fucking end this podcast. You're interrupting an epilogue, and I really hate that. I'm not gonna lie. Dude, fucking Marino is trash. Shut the fuck up. Rogers is cracked. You didn't miss shit. Jeez.
I gotta get Dark an invite to the server, to be honest with you.
Yes. Hey, Dark. Just DM me if you want to be on the next one, because we got a spot for you. I'm just saying. Yeah, let's get him. Let's get him on board. He'd be a great guest. But in all seriousness, we're wrapping this up. Thank you guys so much for joining in. There was a ton of activity. I can't even name all the names, so I'm not gonna embarrass myself by missing somebody who was in here. But everybody from the TSR community that was active in chat, like seriously, thank you so much for coming in here, for contributing to this podcast.
Like a reverse loan.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you guys. Y'all have been great, man. Thank you for this. It's been awesome.
It's been a great time. So until next time, and next time we'll be sooner than you think. For my best friend and constant co-host Filthy, I'm J-Dog. We loved having you tonight. We can't wait to see you next time. And as always, make sure that you folks take care of yourselves, and if you can, take care of someone else as well. This is Shadowboxing out. Good night.